Hi, Katie. Hi, Bunny. Yeah, I figured Emily Baker would be live tonight, too. Dang it. I think she's doing Britney Spears and something about the NFL. Oh, I got to get Katie the link. Hi, Stacy. How you doing? If you're watching the replay, hello. Bunny, bunny, bunny. Yeah, Twitch stuff. I know a lot of people are into the Britney Spears stuff. Hi, Spicy Pizza. Hi, Hillbilly. I love Tennessee. So pretty there. I'm doing good. I'm so happy it's Friday this week about warming out. Yes, Katie's here. Katie, did you get the link? Well, I'm not a big fan, Pocket Knife. I'm not a big fan, I gotta say. I don't think it was right what he did to the guy on Twitter. I did a whole video on it. I don't know if you saw it. No, Spicy, I did not. Hi, Amy from California. Carly's here. Yay. Let's get Katie on here. Katie's dancing.
Girl, you gotta warn somebody before you throw me up here. It's like, you're backstage, only the host can see you. So I'm like, I'm gonna dance and sing for this woman. And then she just like, hi.
There you are. I'm sneaky that way. Oh, he blasted you too, Pocket Knife? We were already talking about the interview room, what he did to Nomadic Trek. Hi, Celeste. Hi, Kathy S. Melissa. Who's the person from Arlington, Spicy?
Yeah, I was about to ask that too.
Oh, Fire, that's so nice. Look at that, Katie. You said you've quickly become my favorite channel. Love you, and Katie.
Somebody likes us.
Isn't that nice?
That's good, because I don't think Chris likes you right now.
Yeah, I don't think Chris likes me at all, but that's okay.
Yeah.
He's entitled to his opinion, too.
We've decided we don't have to be liked by everybody, but we love the people who like us.
What was that? Was that you?
Maybe. What was it?
I don't know. It sounded like a man talking.
No, it's just me.
Oh, what was your name before, Pocket Knife? Oh, thank you, Angela. She's a good mix of her dad and I. Mm-hmm. She looks a lot like her dad.
I do.
I have to say. Hi, Paula.
Hey, Carly.
Carly, the moderator with the mostest.
That's right.
And I was late getting her popcorn out. I'm sorry, Carly.
Oh, you did send her. I was like, after that last one, I was like, that girl needs something.
She works so hard.
Banning bots left and right. Here's hoping nobody targets us again tonight. Like, look, if you got to send bots against us, we're doing something right. But also, if your channel's that lacking in views, you can just come talk to us, man.
Yeah, just come talk to us. Don't send bots. Oh, I'm so sorry, Pocket Knife. That is not right. Yeah, he just seems to go off really easily.
Any Emily news, bossy?
It's not good. The Emily news is not good, and I can't hardly talk about it or I'll start crying. But I don't expect she's going to be with us much longer.
No, Gabby, Mama. Oh, no, she did say.
I thought you said Emily.
No, it was Gabby, I believe.
Oh, okay.
No, it was Emily. I'm sorry. I am discombobulated as hell.
Don't do that to me, Katie.
It was Emily news. Bossy, I'm so sorry.
Yeah, a lot of them have been around from when I did that big fundraiser for Emily and her family.
Yeah.
And they moved her mom's wedding up to tomorrow, hoping she can be the matron of honor.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's not good.
Did you go to that dinner?
No, I did not go. I couldn't.
I don't blame you.
I just couldn't do it. And I feel so guilty, but I couldn't do it.
You know, some of us have to do our community work in different ways than other people, man.
It's hard.
Yeah. They know they have a friend in you and Daddy damn good popcorn. So.
Oh, you're all right, Bossy. I totally get it. It's just wasn't what I was expecting. I thought she was better, you know. Thank you, Bunny. But don't worry, Bossy.
I don't know that I've ever really talked about like my job here, but I actually work in cancer research. One of my field areas, well, it used to be ovarian. As of like 3 months ago, I don't work in ovarian anymore. But PSA to all my women out there, because we are so inclined to be like, oh, it's cramps. Oh, it's lady problems. That's why I'm bloating. Girls, get it checked out. Get it checked out every single time. Switch doctors if they're not listening to you. Ovarian is very frequently not caught until later stages because we're all too often like, it's just, it'll pass in a week or so. And we don't do ourselves any favors by putting ourselves on the back burners that way.
Yes, listen to Katie. I do too, Bossy. I heard she was getting a lot of cards, so.
Good. Oh, Bossy, that's awesome. Keytruda is some good stuff.
That's what Emily was taking.
Mm-hmm. That's the immunotherapy that I had mentioned. It's harsh, but it's really good at what it does.
And yes, I did finally get the huge cotton candy order out, but I told the guy that bought it, I'm not doing that again. he has to order ahead because I'm not doing 1,100 bags of cotton candy in 3 days. I'm exhausted.
I bet you are.
He has to start thinking ahead.
I'm sorry to hear that fire within. That one's honestly any cancers in the abdominal region. We put off those symptoms far too long, and usually by the time they find it, it's advanced.
That's amazing, Bossy.
That is awesome.
I was a little worried we might get some trolls from my 1,100 bags in 3 days. Betsy's been helping me, my helper at work, and she was just, that poor woman was so tired Thursday. She was about done. She was done. But yeah, we might get some of Chris's fans in. If we do, we'll just try to handle it.
He has fans?
Huh?
People like people who accuse people of wrong things like that?
He had 90,000 subs. It was a pretty big channel.
I mean, I didn't
like, how?
I can't. I don't know. I guess the little bit that I've seen him, in my opinion, he wasn't that like good to watch. Like, I didn't find him entertaining. And then if you're gonna go spouting, like accusing people of being Brian freaking Laundrie without any evidence, that's
terrible what he did to that guy.
Right.
Or woman.
Where was the compelling narrative to watch this man before he just
and I heard, now some of my subs like to go watch him, but I heard he used to be a lot better, and as his channel got bigger and more famous, he got a big ego. This is what people have told me, that he got just a huge ego, and then the Summer Wells case came, and people felt like he started making stuff up for that. And this is what I'm saying. The money can be huge, and I think people get addicted to the money and the fame, and then you'll start making stuff up just to get views. I would never do that. But I've seen it a lot with big channels.
Yeah. I don't know. I watched that clip, was it Nordic Trek, posted about where they're just looking at his pictures that he's taken.
Yeah.
And that he just wants to, and he's like, and this is horrible. This is horrible. All it is a picture of some mountains and saying he likes to get lost in nature. And I'm like, how are you calling somebody horrible over this? He's not the one killing people.
It's all, well, and then somebody sent me the video about, because Chris was a retired homicide detective. Mm-hmm. And there's that case where he just treated that kid horrible and almost put him in jail for killing his mom, and he didn't do it. It was bad.
That's terrible.
Hi, Elizabeth. Hi, Jennifer. Hi, anybody I missed? Mermaid. So let me know what you guys think about Chris in the interview room. Yeah, why is Kay's blood pressure up? She's red. My light, I don't know what happened to
I was
the
going to
light.
say, there's something up with your lighting.
I know. I don't know what it is.
Stuff going on. Her blood pressure is up, though. Somebody remind her to go take her meds.
No, I was like, why is I tried turning the lights out. To me, it looks
so weird.
Pink or, I don't know.
But it's like your whole room. It's not just
I know, the whole screen. I can't figure out what it is. Thanks, Irish, for noticing. Look how nice Katie's picture looks, and then look at mine.
You see, this is where I do Zoom meetings all day long, though, so.
Hi, pretty. How are you doing? Yeah, we were talking about Chris McDonough. How do you say his last name? I wasn't sure. McDonough? I think it's
Something
McDonough.
Like oh, I got a notification that we're live. Cool.
Yay, we're live.
Don't worry.
See, that's what I heard, Celeste, that he had done this to people before Nordic Trek. But see, when you put up a video and you put a title like, I found Brian Laundrie's secret Twitter, why can't I say secret Twitter account, you're going to get a ton of views just because of that title.
Sure, but you could also, especially these days, you could ruin somebody's life over this.
Well, that person said they've gotten so many death threats since he started doing that. Hi, Veronica.
And Chris McDonough.
Tamara, you don't know who it is. It's Chris from the interview room. YouTube shut his channel down this week for, I think, for accusing people of being Brian Laundrie who were not Brian Laundrie.
I mean, I guess what he's doing doesn't strictly fit the definition of doxing, but it's as bad as, because you can ruin somebody's future attempts at jobs. He's getting death threats, just the general having the stress of having to deal with all of this for God knows how long. Like, at least it looks like his account is fairly buttoned up and not tied to who he is in person, but there's always crazies out there who can manage to figure it out, so.
But I heard he didn't used to be that way. If anybody's in the chat and knows, let me know. But I heard he used to be a lot better when he first started on YouTube, and then his ego just went crazy. Yeah, he put his name, his address, and then when he found out he was retired LE, then he was asking, well, where did you work? What was your rank? Nobody has to answer to him.
No. And as if that's like...
He didn't need to tell him anything.
Yeah.
Oh, you didn't hear about it, Fire. It was kind of a big deal this week. I think Chris still thinks he's going to get his YouTube channel back.
What's going on here?
But they said YouTube's really cracking down on people putting out false information about the Petito case. And I'm glad to hear it.
I wish they'd crack down on other attempts at my camera is reversed and I cannot fix my hair because of it.
I know, you can't figure it out. That's why I'm always pointing the wrong way. Welcome to my world. I think so too, buddy. I think, they need to put it out that it won't be tolerated. You can't just make stuff up.
Yeah, in general, like it just, especially if you have a decent following. I mean, nobody should be doing it, but when you have people who are more than happy to go harass others because of what you say and they take it as the gospel truth, you're
yes, buddy.
Mobbing people at that point. That's just pitchforks.
That is true. The protesters who interviewed Cassie sold that interview. Yes, and I think that's horrible. They harassed him so much that they finally went out and gave him a statement, and then they sold it to the news stations. It's horrible. I was kind of surprised the news stations bought the story, knowing how they got it, but they did.
I think they want the clicks and the views. They don't care.
That's what I said. It's everybody wants the clicks and the views. And I know it sounds like I'm a hypocrite, but I'm making like $5. So I'm not making, but I wouldn't care. I could do it now and I don't do it. So I think that's why Chris did it, Banana. He did it for the money.
Mm-hmm.
He wanted to keep making that big money. I agree, Carly. They're not careful.
They also only consider themselves. They're not considering the damage that this could do to somebody else. And fire, yeah, they will. They have a very long track record of that, unfortunately.
Cracking down on false info that I guess Mama Roberta Laundrie and her complicit hubby are getting shut. I just mean on YouTube, Irish. YouTube said they were cracking down on it. I don't know.
I wish somebody would crack down on those two. Angela says, did you hear about the news reporter in Florida that called Katie out?
Yes, I
didn't hear anything about that.
I did.
What did they do?
Because Katie was putting out, she's never done true crime, and she's doing the Petito case, and she was putting out false information. And so a big news channel called her out and said, stop putting out bad information.
Now that's funny.
It's terrible.
This is the one that said that the FBI came to her door.
Yeah, but I think they really did. I don't know that it was about Brian Laundrie, but they really did come to her house. Well, it wasn't the FBI, it was the police. Yeah, it's money driven. Sorry, Irish. Maybe if you said it. I don't know. You know, I got the bad lighting and everything. I got to get a ring light. I don't know if a ring light's going to fix this. I've never had this happen.
I don't know if it will because you've got so much light behind you.
But I tried turning up lights like Katie does, and that didn't work either.
And mine is at least like a little room. It's like, well, all the bedrooms in this house are tiny, but.
Jonathan Riches has a history of fraud, and he's a felon. He's yelling out questions at the family are disgusting. I think so, too. I agree. Chris did get canceled, Amy. Well, he got canceled on YouTube anyway. I don't think he'll get his channel back. I could be wrong. I don't think he will. I live in Sarasota. The Northport sheriff called her out. Called out Katie?
Man, it has to be such a different job these days. You can't, like, on the one hand, you're going to get a lot more tips. And we can't say that the YouTubes and the TikToks did not help the Gabby Petito case because it absolutely did. But then on the other hand, you got cases like these Twitter people. The sheriff's got to take this stuff into account and spend his time telling crazies on the internet to back off.
They called her a non-reliable news source.
I think calling anybody on Twitter a news source is kind of...
I can't even believe she calls herself a reporter now. That's crazy. That'd be like me saying I'm a reporter. No, I'm not. I'm not even going to pretend to be one. They're vigilantes, not protesters.
These ones outside the laundry house?
Yeah.
I mean, at this point, if you know their name, they're all just out there so that you know their name. Kind of like what's-her-face last week.
I think Chris her name. I think he's cooked too. I don't think he's gonna. I think he was making big money off this story, Banana. Looking at his views, he was making good money.
I mean, there's a reason he still hasn't directly apologized either.
I know.
And he said in order to apologize, he basically wants a face-to-face on Zoom that he can stream. So he just wants to keep making money.
Yeah. He still won't admit he's wrong when he knows he's wrong. It's crazy to me.
Mm-hmm.
Oops, wrong one. I can't believe the Northport sheriff called her out. That's crazy. No, I didn't hear about that, Bossy. Chris has even doubled down on Facebook and doxed so many people since his channel went down. Plus, he called for mass flagging. Yeah, I saw that. I think it's been an eye-opener for a lot of people because I noticed some of the people that, when I did that video in the middle of the week, some of the people that were supporting him suddenly were not. I think the more they got to reading.
Yeah.
That's like me calling myself a doctor because I played Operation. I love that. That's right. I'll have to look that up, Bossy.
Wow, I just kind of looked real fast, and that's terrible. A 19-year-old whose body was found in Orlando, she was tied up. I mean, all they found was her body. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll see if you can find the clip and I'll play it. That is crazy. I would be so embarrassed. Thank you, Carly. Don't forget to hit the thumbs up. Well, that's a good thing, buddy. From the way it sounds, that's a good thing. So Dog the Bounty Hunter has been quiet.
Yeah.
I wonder if he got in trouble.
I think there was, I don't know. I don't know if he got in trouble. There was some stuff his first week or so about whether he was cooperating with law enforcement, and they kept saying that they were. They've given them all the tips. And then as of last week, they had put a plainclothes officer with Dog's group to show good faith. I don't know if he got in trouble so much as I think they got nervous about what they were saying being maybe relayed back to Brian or somebody helping Brian or anybody who's in knowledge about Brian. Because it was like all of a sudden one day Lissa was like, is it Lissa or Lisa?
I think it's Lisa.
Okay. Was like, we're going to be a lot more quiet about what we're actually doing, but I can confirm he's on the ground manhunting still today. What I thought is interesting is there was all this stuff about him being potentially cited in North Carolina. Like people were saying that during our chat last week. They're like, hey, he's been cited like driving around up in North Carolina. And I'm like, well, that's interesting. But then there was a guy who swears up and down, called the police immediately after, says he met him on the Appalachian Trail.
I saw that.
Yeah, it was like dead on his heart that this was Brian. So of course they've got people out there searching, but it hasn't stopped the search in the reserve. Although a lot of people think the reserve search is more about evidence than it is about finding Brian. And Dog is still just dead set that he's somewhere down there and not in North Carolina.
You mean not in Florida?
Yeah, not in Florida. No, he's not in North Carolina, that he is in Florida.
Oh.
Like Dog is still saying, I am searching here. I feel that he's here and not in North Carolina.
Iris said Dog's been arguing with one of his daughters and someone she's associated with served him court papers.
Ooh, that's juicy.
Yeah, I've been wondering about that, buddy. I wonder if they were just playing mind games with him. I kind of think that was maybe
react, like being out there.
Maybe an FBI mind game.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's weird. Did you guys see the police said tonight that they haven't, well, supposedly they haven't seen anything of Brian Laundrie out there? That shocked me, but they could be lying.
Yeah.
But he said they've seen nothing to show that he's there. No campfires, no nothing.
That's like, why take his dad out there then? Because you would have thought like there's like maybe a campsite or something that they came across that they want his dad to look at, see what he thought of it, kind of thing. Like, what was the purpose in taking him out there if there wasn't something to see?
Here's what I think, and it's just my thoughts. I think the FBI thinks the parents know way more than what they're telling. And I think they had him come out there just to mind game him, kind of mess with it. You don't know what they said to him, why they were with him. Because, you know, they do that kind of stuff. They'll mess with you.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
You guys let me know what you think. And, you know, the cop in the interview tonight made a big deal out of saying, well, you know, the parent's story has changed. You could tell he was not happy.
Yes. Well, it changed, not for the better. And then they're saying that they went out and searched for him too before all this happened, but they haven't searched for him since.
Yeah, they said there's no campsite, no campfire.
I thought it was interesting. You know, the Petito family was on Dr. Phil. I'm not a huge Dr. Phil fan. He kind of
no, me either.
Which tidbit for our little audience here: my mom's family actually went to school with Dr. Phil in high school back in the day.
Yes, they did.
When he was just the nerdy little kid that nobody liked. But I thought it was interesting that Phil just like went straight for the jugular. They were like, well, you know, we were on the ground searching for her. We were doing X, Y, and Z. And they're saying their son's missing and they're not out there. Don't you think that's suspicious? And he's like, yeah, it's suspicious. It's because they either know where he is or they're helping him or both. Like he just came right out and was just like, bam, screw you, Laundrie family. And then he was like, I have done thousands of trials, and I have never seen somebody take like this action as a defense to a child going missing. And I was like, I think more people need to recognize that.
I don't know why fire, but I feel like he's alive. I really do.
I do too.
I could be wrong, but I feel like he's alive. He had such a head start. You know, I still feel like he could be in Mexico.
I think if he was smart, he would have left the country.
Ellie never approved a dog participating. He's not official Ellie and was never approved to be in the search. Dog could potentially plant evidence for views on his show. He's not welcome.
Do they? I don't believe they have cameras with them, like video cameras, like television cameras.
Who?
Dog.
Oh, I think they did. Oh, I bet they filmed all of it.
Oh, that's interesting. I mean, he can plant all he wants, but if he can't come up with Brian, all the planted evidence in the world isn't going to mean anything. I think since he's not official Ellie, that's why he's not, since day one hasn't been in the reserve and stuff like that. He's been off doing his own thing in sites that weren't considered of interest to the FBI anymore, like the campgrounds.
Who gardens when their kid is missing? I don't believe he's in the garden, though. Come on, people. He's not in the garden.
I absolutely adore the theory of it just because it just, oh my God, it just made me laugh so hard when I first saw it erupting. But it is interesting, the things that the Laundries are choosing to do while their son is missing.
I think they're just I honestly just feel like they're trying to find something to do. And, the gardening season is different in Florida.
Mm-hmm.
You can't plant in the heat of the summer, so they plant spring and fall. It's a whole different world there. No, I haven't seen anything, Banana. I have not seen him release anything yet. Some people think they won't release anything until they catch Brian and charge him. I don't think Dog does anything without a camera. That's how I feel.
I don't think any ex-reality TV star can.
Everything they do is filmed.
You got to get so used to just your whole life being on camera, and then you don't know what to do when it's off.
Well, yeah. Dog found and collected potential evidence and then sent it to LE. And this is supposed to be legal. Absolutely not. Anything found is, yeah, I agree. If he did find something, it would be tainted. Oh, thank you, Elizabeth. They need to mow their lawn. Hey, Irish, if you want to come on the mic, let me know. I didn't offer because I just didn't think about it. But if you want to, let me know. See, this is along where I was thinking just for kids. The FBI wants to see the father's behavior regarding his missing son, maybe to use against him. They are building a case.
The pictures of him out there, he just looks like he's mad the whole time. Like just disgruntled as hell that somebody yanked him out of his house and made him go actually look for his son.
I think he was just mad at all the cameras. I think he wanted to go with him to try to prove whatever he's trying to prove.
But you know what, y'all? You wouldn't have all these cameras and protesters and vigilantes outside of your house if you had even for one freaking day pretended like you cared your son was missing.
Yeah.
If you had acted like 50%, like the 50% mark of what other parents do when their children is missing, going to the news stations, asking for their safe return, any of that stuff, then you wouldn't have any of this happening. You'd still have news cameras and stuff like that outside your house, but nothing to the extent that they are.
He definitely had help fleeing by his parents. That's what I believe. That's my opinion. I think they definitely helped him. They definitely got him out of there.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's why the FBI said, hey, why don't you come help us search? Let's see what you're going to do. KJ was having dreams about Brian. What? That's
even if
odd.
I had that, that would be something I would not put out into the world.
I don't like the way she makes jokes about it because I just don't think that's right. But that's just me. Yeah, that's what's so weird about this whole thing is that she actually lived with him for a year. I know Irish was talking. We were talking in messages earlier this week, and she thinks Mama Laundrie is like the matriarch and that she's running all this. It's an interesting theory, Irish. She thinks she like rules the house.
I've seen a lot of other people put forward that their body language speaks to him being, to the dad being like the controlling guy, and that maybe that's where Brian gets it. And I can kind of see that too, but I can see Irish's theory as well.
Yeah.
Like, he definitely seems like a mama's boy.
It just seems like to me like the men I know in my life that were dominated by very dominating mothers are very submissive men. So I wonder. So see, when I think of it that way, it doesn't
turn
fit.
around and be like somebody who wants to control their girlfriend, and then
The family has an
jealousy
attorney.
about women going missing.
His lawyer would never allow the family to go search if it was going to be used against them. No, that's why I'm saying I think that FBI just had him come along because they just wanted to mess with him. That's what I think.
I mean, I know they have an attorney, but also that attorney so far has not turned out to be that fabulous. It's partly on this attorney that they have such a bad view in public.
See, Iris said, oh, I know she is. Her name's on everything. She controls the money. Yeah, that's true. It could be the other way, too, where if you had a dominating mother, you could make you an angry man. Mm-hmm. That's true.
I can see that.
Just most of them I've known are submissive, and they always seem to marry another dominating woman because that's what they grew up with and that's what they knew.
Yeah. Unless in this case, he wanted to flip that narrative and he wanted to be the controlling one.
See, a lot of people say I'm the boss in my marriage, but they don't see that it's really not like that. I'm a strong personality, but he lets me know. Doesn't he, Katie?
I was going to say, you guys have always been a very good, like, 50-50
Very
50-50. Yeah. Like,
but people on the outside will be like, oh, Kay controls everything, but I don't.
No. I have seen you both put your foot down over things.
Oh, yeah. Your dad gives me as good as I give him. Well, I don't think they could really charge the family until Brian's found. You know what I mean? You can't really charge them with anything until you find Brian.
True. I mean, we still need evidence that there's a crime, or at least evidence that, I mean, even if, since he's missing and he's not considered a suspect right now, he's still just a person of interest. There's only so much, even if you prove that they knew where he was,
he'd have to be
charges about using up public resources. Like, there's not a whole lot that you could charge them with right now, regardless. And you'd have to prove that they knew all of this from the start first.
Thank you, Mermaid. Yeah, no, we can't have any, like, big cuss words in chat because YouTube doesn't like it. And no politics. I don't know why people kept wanting to get into politics last week. I was like, no, we don't do that here. Jomo says, if Roberta didn't know where her son was, she'd be screaming from the rooftops. Mm-hmm. And then Stacy said, I think the dad is the enforcer. Yeah, let me grab it, Irish. Because she's got a good theory. She can explain it better than I can. It's hard to type all that out when you want to.
Vivi, I mean, of course that's a possibility, but there's also nothing simply to charge them with yet. We have to have a crime in order to charge somebody, and he's not a suspect, so they can't charge him as an accessory to anything since he's not a suspect.
Heard rumors of dad drunk dialing people. Think he has his thumb on her.
Interesting.
Yeah, true. If he's not a suspect, this is the biggest search for a missing adult I've ever seen.
Oh, for sure. But just going by, like, legal terms here. they can't be charged for aiding or abetting a suspect because he's not a suspect yet.
I keep thinking about that too, Banana. They have spent so much money on this search, but the police tonight in that interview said they will keep searching.
Which, okay, that's the part that doesn't make any sense to me. They came out right and said that they haven't found anything. After almost 3 weeks of searching now, they found zero evidence that he's in that reserve, but they're going to keep searching?
Yeah. It just doesn't make sense, does it?
It doesn't.
I'm going to take the banners down for a minute so people can see our names.
Well, Spivvy, I think that's what we're here for. Spivvy says, why are we criticizing the dad and his family? There's no evidence. We're not here because of evidence. We're here because of how they're behaving. And I think most people can agree that when your child goes missing, you don't hole up in your house and lawyer the hell up. Just kind of like, Brian driving back from Utah without his girlfriend and saying nothing to anybody for 11 days and then going missing 3 days later doesn't exactly say that he's innocent either.
True.
I'm so glad to have you, Jomo. New sub here. If Roberta thought that Brian wasn't alive, she'd be questioning everything and everybody. I agree. I think Irish would agree with you too. She's coming on mic here. Are you here,
Hi,
Irish?
Irish.
Am I here?
You're here.
Am I? Where am I?
Where am I?
What's my name? Okay. I was. Who said that? Spivey. Criticizing the dad and family. Well, I mean, I don't have any kids, However, if my kid came home and said something happened, and it caused me to immediately get them a lawyer, something happened.
I agree.
Something happened. And if I lawyered up with if I'm a dude and I lawyered up with my wife, something happened.
Well, Spivvy, these are facts. The facts are they lawyered the hell up the second, before he was even ever questioned. They already had a lawyer waiting.
Yeah.
This is not normal behavior, and that is a fact. Alternatively, we're not a courtroom, so we can speculate.
Thank you, Jomo.
Yeah, I definitely think that Brian, because nobody has talked about if Brian has a job. It's been talked about that Gabby had a job. It's been talked about how she quit her job and to save money so they could travel and do what they were doing. But there was no mention of Brian having a job. So I was like, well, where did he get his money? Because they kept referring it to Brian's Mustang. It's like, it can't be Brian's Mustang if they allowed Mama Matriarch to drive it home. And yes, that's what I'm going to call her. That's her name now.
That's why I love you, Irish.
That's her name now. That is her God-given stripper name. But they couldn't have released the vehicle in her possession because he is a missing person. He's not a dead person. And even then they would have documents to a court to get possession of the vehicle if it was in a police impound. And, I'm having trouble. I like, what is it, WFLA? I like that news station, but there's a chick on there that I'm having trouble with because of the notice that was on the Mustang, where she's, in my opinion, she's twisting what it means, and I'm not liking it. Because if you pull up I think they did a little mini news article on it on their YouTube channel, where they're reading the document, and she's reading the document over with this Brian Enton person who I just adore him. But she's misreading it where they use the verbiage that the reason that they left a notice on this vehicle and considered it abandoned is because whatever officer wrote it up, or if they, called it in and checked on it and said, oh yeah, that car's been there, all night. She's making it sound like that vehicle, they consider it an abandoned vehicle if it's been there 4 to 5 days. But the date that it's written for, the lawyer could argue, well, we would then have to subpoena the police and say, okay, well, what is your proof of how long that it's been there that you left this notice on the 4th or 5th day? Because the point she's trying to make is that if the vehicle had to be there 4 to 5 days to be considered abandoned, then that means the parents are totally lying about the day that they knew Brian had left and the day that they had found the Mustang. That means that they are totally lying about it, and that puts that Mustang in that park on September 1st or 2nd.
Wow.
Interesting.
Which I don't understand how that's possible, but it does. I mean, so with the person who is like saying, why all the shit talk about, mom, pa? Well, this is why. It's like,
Plus, Gabby lived with them.
How much dementia do you have that you don't fucking remember? That I'm sorry, F word.
Gotta watch language.
I do this one.
The fudgesicle. Like that you can't remember that your kid left and you're concerned about them, that you went and looked for the car, but then you left the car there. And then what was on this note? Remember the note that they said, oh, Brian left a note. Where's this note? I mean, obviously, maybe the FBI is holding on to it. So I don't know. It's public information. You look up Mama Matriarch. Everything is in her name. Everything's in her name. For Chris, it says that he was the president of their juicer company. They own, I guess, industrial commercial brand style juicing company equipment that they also maintain. Like they do service calls on and stuff like that. And that she was the vice president or CFO or CEO or whatever. But if you run her name, she has quite the work history in New York, where I've not seen where she was an assistant district attorney. I put out a message to Emily Baker about that, to see if she could ask around behind the scenes. But she definitely worked for the county. She definitely worked for the county for quite a few years.
Yeah.
So it's very odd to me, right? Where before the feds show up, 20 minutes before the feds show up, Chris goes out to his truck and gets paperwork. And then the feds show up. Yeah, they pull up on the grass, but it seemed all very civil.
Mm-hmm.
You don't see any boys kicking in the door going, yo, boom, like it's all very civil. They whisk them out, pull them in a van.
Spivey, I agree. You have the right to remain silent. But people are always going to look at, if you don't care that your son's fiance is missing and you won't talk to her parents, which is really bad. This is before anybody knew. And her parents were calling them and say, where have you heard from Gabby? What's going on? And they wouldn't return her calls.
Well,
so even beyond that, you're saying it's the law, not YouTube speculations. We're not the law. Again, this is not a courtroom.
Yeah, this is just our opinions.
Women talking about opinions.
I hate to point out the obvious here, but I'm going to point out the obvious. Their own attorney hasn't came out and said it has declared anybody's innocence here. Their own attorney has not, who's also Brian's attorney, has not came out and said Brian's innocent. It's all a big misunderstanding. He's scared, whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, he took Brian as a client. He would have to know why he's being retained. And he's not declared, said, whoa,
right.
This is all a big misunderstanding. He said that, he's stuck up for, Mama Matriarch and her hubby, and said, anybody that thinks that they have anything to do with Brian disappearing and whatnot, is totally false. Okay. Yeah. All right. Fair enough. Okay. But aren't you also Brian's attorney? What exactly did he retain you for? Is that lawyer client privilege? Well, your client is MIA.
Yeah.
So
where's your client?
And I appreciate healthy debate, and I appreciate people being able to be like, yo, because it is true. It hasn't been declared that he did anything, because at first, when it first happened, right, I thought, okay, maybe this dude got scared because he left to go back to the van or something, came back and like a bear was attacking her. Maybe he got scared. But would you drive why would you not like hurry up, get in the van, drive out of there and call 911? Why wouldn't you try to get her aid or render aid? Why disappear for what? A month? Almost a month?
And that's what makes people so suspicious, because their behavior is so far outside of what an average person would do.
I mean, does he think that bear followed him all the way on the highways from, like, what are we talking about here?
I think Tim states the note was a tow notice left on the 14th. Police stating that they can give tow notice for cars left after 24 hours. So it could mean it was parked on the 13th. But
oh, okay. Yeah, because see, that's what the parents changed their story to.
Mm-hmm. Right, exactly. And I wonder if that's why.
Yeah, I'm thinking behind the scenes.
I was wondering too, because I was like, what changed in the last 3 weeks that they were suddenly like, oh no, sorry, we just realized it was the 13th that we last saw him. And I'm like,
yeah, I think
what in your day-to-day life
the
made
lawyer.
you suddenly realize that you had the wrong day this whole time?
Right. I think the police notified the lawyer and said, hey, now there's documentation proof that their story isn't true, because because it wouldn't make any sense that if somebody pulled into a park, right, and then they go camping for the night, they come out and there's a notice on their car that their car's abandoned. It's like,
right. Yeah.
People are always going to have opinions, as Spivey. I mean, nobody here is representing what we're saying as a fact unless it is a fact. Mm-hmm. But, we're just talking about it. It's okay. But I'm glad you're being respectful about it. I appreciate that.
Yeah, nobody's saying anything's a fact. We're talking about it.
Katie was joking about the bear. Now, come on, you got to lighten up a little bit.
I didn't even know she was joking about a bear. I tried to avoid her.
I was going to say, I told a joke about a bear.
He said a bear chasing him out, or...
Oh, I thought you meant KJ.
No, my Katie.
Oh, your Katie. Well, that's because great minds think alike.
Yeah, thank you, Carly. This is not a news report. This is just an open discussion.
Right.
Yeah, I mean...
There's a lot of people very concerned about what the facts are versus what the law exactly says. And I'm like, this is just, us expressing some speech.
You can discuss the law, but you also have to discuss hypotheticals, because otherwise you don't know what law pertains to it. So
there's
then it kind of
people having
branches out into all these rabbit holes. And like, I was watching this one argument go down on Twitter. I was like, oh my God, it was getting like, whew. It was definitely, I was expecting some virtual blood splatter going on in this thread of 50 people. And they were all tagging each other, and they were all going after this one woman who said, hey, listen, I understand we have XYZ, but Brian could be innocent, and these people were just going after her. And I understand where she's coming from. I do. You can't rule that out, that he could be innocent of taking her life.
Do you guys think the witness that says he saw Brian? I
believe he thinks he did.
The one that said he's 99.99% sure. Yeah, no, I'm sorry. I think he got really good weed and he needs to hook me up with his dealer.
I feel bad in general for skinny bald men right now, and I think I said that last week.
I think it was a cold day that day. I do. I think it was a cold day that day on that trail. Maybe he drank a little too many spirits.
I know there's been multiple sightings around various areas of North Carolina, and it's been pointed out that he's hiked parts of the Appalachian Trail before. But I think if there was more truth to it, any real evidence of it, that it would be more than just local police investigating each time that there's a report of it.
See, I saw her tweet something about some big news, and then it was gone. They're talking about Lisa Chapman.
Oh, Lisa Chapman.
On Twitter, Dog's daughter.
Yeah, I saw an article today. There was tweets about it. He was trending about it, where they showed this woman and him turning around talking to this woman who was serving him. I can't remember the guy's name, but I don't want to. Okay, allegedly, what it's about is, Dog being racist, saying racist things. His daughter Bonnie's involved in it. It's so sad that Bonnie and he have been fighting ever since Beth passed away. If you go to Bonnie's Twitter, I don't know if she still has it pinned. She put up like a 4-page document of her exposing daddy dog like I've never seen. Affairs, down to, things he was doing while Beth was dying in the hospital. So there's a lot of family turmoil there.
Oh, yeah. I think he's always had a lot of family turmoil, though.
Yeah.
They've always kind of been a mess.
Well, they're also accusing him of getting somebody killed or something. I'm not sure, but he got served with papers from somebody who's spearheading that while he was investigating Brian Laundrie. So that could be another reason why he's being quiet too.
Yeah.
Is because he's going to have a bunch of press now following him around, asking him about this lawsuit while he's trying to be on the down low, going to different locations and stuff. So
I'm not saying he's innocent, but I feel his parents aren't involved and should not be criticized. They're honestly, well, I get his parents are concerned about their son. I guess they, in my opinion.
But then why aren't they talking to their daughter? What did Casey do? Why aren't they talking to her?
There's a lot there that doesn't line up, friend.
You know what I'm saying? Like, she's got their grandchildren. And it's interesting that now all of a sudden they're coming out and talking because I think they're afraid that Casey isn't going to allow them to see their grandkids anymore. I actually think that that's why. Because nobody went to the reserve today. Like, right. Isn't it interesting? Yeah, isn't it interesting that, Chris goes out and is trying to smooge up with the FBI, which is also weird too, because there was a bunch of helicopters flying over there, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you could not see where these people were. So I almost feel like they had something set up in the woods back there. And like they were probably talking to him going, all right, your big bad wife is at the house. It's just us guys now. Tell us what the hell's going on. Help us help you. What's going on? Help us bring in Brian safely. Nobody wants anybody to get hurt here. Because, and for people to be like, why all the hoopla? Well, because there's a lot of credit card theft that goes on every day all over the world. A lot during the holidays, and you don't see the FBI, local police, and news media looking for those people like they're looking for Brian Laundrie.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
See, I never thought the two women that died was related, and Katie always has thought they are related. So then Katie showed me the other day where now the police are kind of walking back on what they said, and they're kind of like, now, what'd they say, Katie?
That they're not ruling it out. Well, the FBI started investigating it. The FBI up there. The local PD was just like, nah, it's not related. And the FBI
thought they were really quick to dismiss that too.
Yes, they were.
I thought that was because
they still, as far as I know, haven't interviewed the wedding guests.
No, because
the father of the bride even offered the guest list, and they were like, nah, man, we don't need it. And I'm like, that was an eighth of a mile away from where they were shot. Why would you not interview these people?
And when Brian and Gabby got pulled over, the cop had said he had to speed up to catch up to them. The speed limit was only like 15 miles an hour or whatever it is in that stretch where they were at. Right. And he had to floor it to get up to like 45 because Brian was going like 42 and was speeding up even the cop says that before he's pulled over. That's when he goes, whoa, they hit a curb. Mm-hmm. And Gabby said they were fighting about money. They never said if robbery was a motive with the two women, but we know he used quickly
2 cards, or he had 2 fraud charges. The Petito family has said now that he did use Gabby's card after she was gone. So we know that was one of them, but what was the other card?
Well, I think that it could be tied to the same account. Mm-hmm. Because if you open up a checking account, typically you have to open up a savings account and open it with like $50 or whatever, and then they let you open up a checking account. So I'm thinking, because I thought when it first came out, they said it was it's actually on the warrant maybe, where it says that it's the Capital One debit card, and then it also names the savings account. And I believe it's the same bank. And I believe they say savings account.
Interesting.
I always thought they were both Gabby's.
Yes.
Yeah.
But like with most banks, you can't open up a checking account without first opening a savings account with the bank, because the savings account money is your money in case you bounce checks. So they typically make you open a savings account with like $50, and they go, okay, here's your debit card, and then you put separate money in a checking account. But he drained both, and like that was part of the bloodbath of that Twitter thread today. Is they kept, oh my God, they kept going over the difference between sharing expenses. This one chick was going, yeah, but they're sharing expenses. And I'm like, they're sharing expenses, yes. Like if the gas costs $40, this one pays 20, that one pays 20. That doesn't mean they're sharing money. Doesn't mean they're sharing finances and funds. They're sharing the bills.
Right.
And I'm like, and she's trying to go back and forth with me. I go, okay, well, I'm going to cancel out your argument right now. If what you say is true, Brian wouldn't be on the run. And there wouldn't be a warrant for credit card because his name would have been on the accounts. And she's like, don't know. You're just nitpicking. I'm like, okay.
If you can play devil's advocate, that's cool. I feel like they kind of need somebody to play devil's advocate for them.
But I think what Spivey doesn't get is, I'm talking about before the police were even involved, before any of that. Gabby's parents were calling Brian's parents, and they refused to call them back.
They actually got her father banned from their property when he came to their door, knocking, going, where the hell is my daughter?
Well, like
instead of answering him, they called the police because the police were their own little personal 911 line and got the father removed instead.
And, what about moving the stuff out of storage to save money, allegedly? He flew home for a week. She didn't want to be left alone. She was terrified to be left alone, but he leaves her alone for a week. I think they got into a fight after the police thing. And I think that she said to him, I'm going to tell the police what really happened. And he panicked or whatever, called his daddy, called his mommy. Because I don't care what people say. I think mom wears the pants in that family, the pants, the girdle, the jock strap, at all. I think mom.
That's not why he wasn't charged with stealing the vehicle. It has nothing to do with insurance. I can have insurance be covered on my mom's vehicle, but if I take it without her permission, I can still be charged. The problem here is that the legal owner of the car is dead and can't file charges.
Yeah, I mean, because
him driving the vehicle back is just neither here nor there at this point.
Well, because he was driving the vehicle when they were, when they were on the trip. So,
right.
I mean, unfortunately, she's not here to say he didn't have permission to drive it that day.
Exactly.
But they have proof that he spent her money after she was deceased. So obviously, they have a date and time roundabout of her death to charge him. Because the cards were used at the end of August and September 1st. It was like August 30th. And
covered
September
driver
1st.
On somebody's insurance is not implicit legal, ownership of a vehicle. So you can't
She's
say
saying her dad,
legal cover.
Gabby's dad never knocked on their door in Florida.
Well, it depends. When we're talking about car insurance, it depends on the state. I think in my state, as long as you're over 25 and the car has insurance, you're insured on the vehicle if you're, unfortunately getting in an accident in the vehicle. Unless the person says, no, they stole it. Well, then that's a different story. Then that's auto theft. But in my state, any driver that's over 25 is covered, I think, under the no-fault law.
And
I don't know why people don't understand that because Gabby had passed away, she can't press charges. Hello?
Yeah, Celeste is right.
Her
Gabby's
dad was literally in a legal altercation at their property on September 10th. So, I mean, if your problem here is that he didn't technically knock on the door or something, that was just a figure of speech. But it's a well-documented fact that her dad was on their property on the 10th.
He may have knocked on the door, and that's when they called 911. But Celeste is right. Joseph Petito is the one that Ubered them food after the police incident. After they got to see each other, whatever, he Ubered them food.
Mm-hmm. Her family, Like Irish said, her family, her mom and stepdad live in New York. Her dad lives in Florida. He moved there to be closer to her, Spivvy. Like, there's a whole police report on her dad being at the Laundrie's house on the 10th.
There's multiple police reports. Did you see the other ones too? I was like, what the F?
Well,
and the big black square
line to the police.
And the big black square censoring all of the narrative. Yeah. It's like, what is I didn't say F. Yeah. I didn't say F.
Thank you.
So what in the bejesus is that about? Hi, Carly Hannah.
Thank you, Snow White. Hey, everybody coming into chat. Hello. Thank you, Angela. So sweet.
No, I know. I sent you a book. I did. I sent you a novel because I had to purge it out of my head. Because
I told her, I said, I got to have more coffee and I'll come back and read this again.
I had to purge it out of my head because I'm like, this is insanity that nobody can see this. Because at first, unfortunately, growing up in a household of violence and, my dad was the one, my mom was a little psycho too at some point, but it was mainly my dad. Thank God they got divorced. They were better people for it. But, that's how I grew up. So I think for me, the natural assumption was I kept looking at Chris's body language whenever they would come out of the truck. And I was like father, like son, like typically like father, like son, like they emulate or imitate, what they know, what they've seen.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, then I started paying more attention to Mama Matriarch. And I was like, wait a minute. He's nothing more than a chauffeur for her. He's always getting out, opening the door. Like he could be a gentleman, but I don't think he is. I think he's beat down into submission because there's also been rumors. I hate rumors, but there's been rumors out there that they were going through a divorce or that they were talking about a divorce and that there was some people going, I find it hilarious that now they're forced to be under the same roof if they're going through a divorce. And I'm thinking, okay, whatever. Well, then I look her up, right? And her name's on everything. Roberta's name is on everything. And it was irritating to me to hear the news keep saying, Brian's Mustang. It's like, it's not his car.
Right.
It's got to be one of his parents' cars because they wouldn't have returned it to the parents. So since Roberta was driving
that's why a lot of people were asking why the Mustang wasn't impounded.
Yeah.
But I think it's because it wasn't Brian's.
It's not. Otherwise, it would still be there. They wouldn't have been able to release it into the parents' name, even if they're co-signers. I think that they would need a letter from the dealership if it was like a lease. But I think both those vehicles, the Mustang and, I could be wrong, the Mustang and Dad's truck are both 2012. So I think they might have bought them both at the same time. I don't know. But that's definitely not just Brian's car. His mommy's name is on the note. I think because nobody's talked about Brian having a job. I think his parents paid for everything.
Well, they were saying in chat that he worked at Publix grocery store and then quit when they took their trip.
Okay, but I find it interesting that nobody has gone to the Publix grocery store and talked to the manager and said, what kind of an employee was he? Did you ever see any problems? Did Gabby ever come in here? And
that is kind of weird now that you mention it.
Huh?
That is kind of weird now that you mention it because they're interviewing everybody and anybody that has anything to do with it. So yeah, now that I think about it, that is weird.
They're interviewing people on social media that said, yeah, I saw them at a restaurant, but I can't remember what Brian said, but he was screaming and yelling. Like that chick was driving me crazy. It's like, how can you know that he's screaming and yelling, but you don't know what he's saying?
Yeah.
I believe it happened, but I just believe that she milked it. But yeah, like why is nobody talking to this grocery store?
That is odd.
Just
on Facebook especially, I've seen so many people on Facebook saying, I know these people I was a friend of the daughters, and I never know which ones to believe though. So I take them with kind of a grain of salt.
Fire Within's right too. She's, they're right too. Even when Cassie was asked, do you think your brother did it? I don't know. I don't blame her for saying I don't know because she's like, she probably would have said, I don't think so. If Mama Matriarch and her hubby were, not being so secretive. Obviously,
He's mad at her mom. There's no doubt of that.
and
Yeah.
it seems like their behavior is extremely unusual for her, which is why she got so mad with her husband and went out on the front lawn talking to those people where I guess that's their job, is to go around and scream and yell in front of people's houses. While I'm split down the middle with that, like I'm split down the middle with it, where I think that when there's kids in the house and stuff, I don't really like that kind of stuff going on, especially kids in the neighborhood in general. I think it puts kids in danger because you're bringing all this additional people and attention in neighborhoods that could harm children. So I don't believe in that. And then I look at the flip side. Look at the progress we got out of it. Look at some of the answers we got from Casey.
Mhm.
When she was like, listen, man, their lawyer's throwing me under the bus. All bets are off.
I like how Amy says, just like nobody that personally knows Chris McDonough is coming to his defense.
I don't know him. I watched a couple videos about him because I wanted to try to educate myself on it. And I saw these two guys on a live stream with him, and I felt like all they were doing was blowing sunshine up his
Yeah.
derriere. Can I say
I went
derriere?
looking into it too, and I was like, what is the draw here?
Yeah.
Nothing about this is entertaining. Why does
Yeah.
anybody care what he has to say?
Well, people seem to forget that, when they go, oh, well, he was just on YouTube and he was thinking that this person was Brian Laundrie because they were posing as Brian Laundrie. They were acting like it, which they could have been. They could have been.
Didn't. They were. In my opinion, they were not.
I haven't seen it.
There's
but,
so many 20-something-year-old dudes taking pictures of nature out there that, it's literally a dime a dozen right now. That's why there's so many people traveling cross country doing the exact
I don't know the
thing Brian and
context
Gabby
of,
were doing.
But I don't know the context of what he meant by that. Like, I don't know how this person was allegedly pretending to be Brian Laundrie. But at any rate.
But he wasn't. He never was pretending to be. This was just Chris's speculation, and then he told people he confirmed it.
Yeah.
That's what got him in trouble.
He literally pulled up a picture of mountains saying, I like to get lost in nature, and he's talking about how this is horrible.
But this all happened on Twitter.
Behind it. And I'm like,
but this
what are you even?
Yeah, it happened on Twitter,
right?
But he made several videos saying, I have confirmed that this Twitter account is Brian Laundrie.
A lot of your social media websites have adopted the same rule, which is off-platform content can get your account suspended, terminated, whatever. So them having a fight on Twitter, YouTube's going to probably take down the channel, just like vice versa.
Well, he had his lawyer contact YouTube, and he or she, and I don't blame them. I asked him to come tonight. I told him I was doing a live nomadic trek, but I don't think he or she is coming. But I did offer.
I think it's best just to let it die down. No offense to you. I just think that, if they feel like they were being harassed, then to bring more attention to it is not doing them any favors.
Right.
I'm talking about them, not
you. They're pretty PO'd right now, though. I think they're...
Well, they need to dial it back because they can't accuse this guy of harassment if now they're turning into the harassers.
No, I don't think that at all. I think they're trying to use it.
Mostly asking for an apology, and that's
he's asking for a public apology.
But he's not going to get that. There's a way of going about it.
Chris was basically like, if he'll do a Zoom face-to-face with me, and that he can live stream it and basically make more money off of it, that he would agree to maybe.
Okay, and it sounds like it's going both ways there. So, like, if the nomadic guy has a lawyer, his lawyer should be contacting this Chris person and getting some sort of an apology.
He hasn't added Chris. He'll hashtag Chris sometimes, but he will not add him. And I'm sure that's part of why. Yeah.
Well, I think once you get lawyers involved, then you shouldn't be. Well,
I think he had to. He or she. We don't know if it's a he, but because his big thing is privacy and that people should be allowed their privacy. What got Chris was that this person was anonymous on Twitter. It's okay to be anonymous on Twitter. Look how many people we know anonymous on Twitter. We can't go after somebody just because they're anonymous on Twitter.
Yeah, but I think he went after them because of their name.
I'm sure that weighed into it too.
Yeah.
He took it way too far, though. Way too far.
Oh, of
He
course
was making
did.
a lot of money off those videos,
Honestly,
saying that he found Brian Laundrie's Twitter.
2
It was
seconds
about the
looking into
money.
it and seeing that name existed before Nomadic Static or whatever would have helped him with that as well.
Fire, somebody asked me about that on Twitter, and I think it was Menace to Sobriety asked me about that on Twitter, and I'm not interested. I'm not interested in people that spread around, fake stuff or whatever. Maybe under different circumstances I might be interested in that, if like maybe one of my bigger YouTubers was working on exposing a bunch of people, like the one guy that I stumbled across by accident. What is his name? His last name is Morris. I cannot stand this individual who clearly clickbaits, but he had done a thumbnail for one of his videos where he said, Gabby Petito's autopsy, and he used some random woman's dead autopsy photo and then like pixelated her from the neck down and tried to make it people think Joseph
Wow.
Morris. Thank you. That's the person. That dude is he's lower than pond scum. Like,
Yeah.
totally horrible.
T-Light's message.
Yeah, 1,800 death threats. That's a lot.
Yeah, but like I said, once you get lawyers involved, like the more.
But I think he had to.
I'm not saying that he didn't have to. I'm just saying that once you get lawyers involved, then you have to take a responsibility upon yourself to not make it so public. Like the reason why you got a lawyer, or allegedly that he got a lawyer, was all the harassment, the public harassment, whatever. If he wants an apology, trying to browbeat one out of him the same way he felt he was browbeated isn't the way.
Oh, I don't take it that he's browbeating anybody.
No.
I think he's more using it to say, look, this is what can happen to anybody. People ought to have a right to be private. I don't think he's not browbeating anybody. I don't take it that way, but that's just my opinion. We don't have to agree.
Did T-Light win popcorn from you?
Oh, yeah, I shipped it. You didn't get it yet? Ooh. Email me again so I don't forget, and I'll check in the morning, and I'll check the tracking. You should have already had it by now. Wasn't that last week? The only one I was late shipping was Carly's.
Oh, Tim. So Joseph Morris is the guy who faked the boat video, too.
He fakes everything. He
Wow,
probably
that's just, like,
fakes
some serious
orgasms.
dedication to the cause to have caused that like whole thing with the boat, and then also be faking autopsy photos. It's just gross, man.
He, even when you try to watch his live streams, he's so inexperienced and unprepared that he messes up so many times just trying to do like the screen transitions and sharing. It's hysterical, but just the information that he claims, it's disgusting. And it's weird because I called him out on Twitter. I tagged a bunch of my big boys to him. He blocks me on Twitter and then like unblocked me the other day. Yeah. I've been meaning to have another go at him. I just keep getting distracted.
People remain silent for a reason. Social media will destroy innocent people that have information. That's why. Well, yeah, that's kind of shown with this whole Chris and nomadic truck thing. That's why I said when I see him on Facebook saying, oh, I used to date, or I know his friend or whatever, I just don't even pay attention because I think it's somebody lying.
Yeah.
I don't believe most of them, so.
None of them ever get any traction, and I feel if they had like an ounce of truth to them, they would.
There's people, especially on TikTok, that are just making up stuff for views.
Yeah. Which, like, I think that's going to be a problem with any, like, high-profile case, but when you're going to the lengths of, like, faking autopsy photos, that's just, like...
That's horrible.
You're some pond scum, man.
He's gross.
Yeah, I heard Chris did a lot of weird stuff during the, what's the little girl's name that's missing?
Summer Wells.
Summer Wells, yeah.
Ugh,
Suzanne Morphew, too, yeah.
When he got confronted about being busted about the fake video, he laughed about it. Tim, are you talking about that Joseph Morris dude? Oh, okay. Yeah, he's a slime bucket.
Snow, are you talking to me? His friends could be talking off the record.
I think he means the ones that we're talking about on Facebook, or she means, sorry.
Well, Mick, nobody's forcing you to be here. You can go. That's the beauty of YouTube. You don't have
You
to
can block us. Bye-bye.
See ya. Yeah, are you sending it? I'm trying to remember because I've sent so many in the last week, but just email me and we'll figure it out. I promise.
I'll make sure you get some popcorn.
We will figure it out.
It's good popcorn, y'all.
I don't think so, Fire. I don't think they have released her. Yeah, Banana, that's what was so bad when he came out with the video and said confirmed and all that. That was terrible.
Yeah. Right. I think that's where it's going to be a problem for him, too, is saying confirmed.
Oh, I get it, Snow. She's saying folks won't speak out, but they could be off the record. Okay.
Oh, okay.
Sorry. Sometimes it's hard to keep up with chat. I try. No, I agree with you there, Spy. If you have real information, you need to be giving it to the FBI or the police, not social media, for sure. For sure. I kept waiting to see if Lisa was going to put anything else out. Let me check her Twitter. Why can't I find her now?
I don't know. What'd you do?
Isn't she under baby Lisa?
I would think so, yes. Lyssa.
I know I follow her, but I can't find it. Oh, there it is. Nope, she took them all down.
Yeah, she hasn't posted.
There's still nothing there. So odd. I almost think somebody must have gotten in trouble or got their hand slapped or something. Critical K got banned because she's again in a lawsuit. But I think she had so many different violations, and I think that's what got her taken down. I think it was bullying and harassment. I know I looked at, what's the son's name? It's on the tip of my tongue. He just made a post on YouTube a couple days ago that the harassment has still not stopped. So if Dog or any of his associates are releasing information, it has not been confirmed.
I don't think they've released anything.
No, they just keep hinting that they have leads and stuff.
Yeah.
I
think they're just trying to keep things stoked for them at this point.
Yeah, I do too. Right, Tim, there you go. I was so happy the day Critical K got taken down, but I still think I need to change my channel name because a couple days ago somebody was harassing me on Twitter again, calling me Critical K. Oh, it drives me nuts. But I don't know if changing the channel and Twitter name will help or not. You guys let me know what you think.
Oh, you don't want to know.
She has 9 YouTube lives. Yeah, Katie seems to, KJ, I should say, seems to skate under. Hi, Ralph. Thank you for the hug. We got hugs from Canada. Irish probably wants a hug, too. Irish, do you get a hug?
Irish, you get a hug whether you like it or not.
Irish is like, what are you talking about?
I'm hugless. I'm so mad right now. Like, if you could see my DMs, what's going on right now.
Who are you fighting with?
My face looks like your camera shot.
Sorry about the red camera tonight, guys. We can't figure out why it's doing this. I don't know.
Actually, some hellfire and brimstone over there.
I should have tested my camera earlier, and I didn't because it always works, and then tonight I'm red. Yeah, Amy, I agree, but I don't know why Lisa keeps putting on Twitter that she's got some big thing she's going to announce or something. I don't know.
And then took it
She
down.
keeps acting like it's to do with this case. Like she's got some big breaking news about the case.
Yeah.
Oh, Carly, you're I'm so excited we finally hit 4,000. Yay!
Yay!
Fire with it. You're sweet. I don't know. I find it weird that Chris went out in the reserve yesterday and now there's no action today. Like,
yeah.
It is kind of creepy because this is kind of what happened when they found Gabby. Like things kind of went silent.
See, and somebody said that about Lisa deleting her tweets.
Mm-hmm.
Because she acted like there was some big news coming and then deleted them all. And they said, I wonder if they found Brian. And that's why she had.
I wonder that too.
I don't think they would have been able to keep it this quiet for this long at this point, though. I mean, in Gabby's case, it was quiet for a matter of a few hours. At this point, it's almost been 24.
I mean, like, if Chris really wanted to help them find Brian, why didn't they get on a plane to Mexico? Just saying.
See, I keep thinking he's in Mexico, and everybody thinks I'm nuts.
No, I think he's in a warm place. If he's not in a warm place, then he might be in the Appalachians closer to, like, colder weather because wearing hats would help cover his Baldo head, wearing gloves to cover his tats.
Mm-hmm.
See, I think they had long enough to get him out of the country before anybody knew. Especially now that they changed it.
Yeah. It's just weird, right? Like, I have to ask you as a mom. So, like, Katie comes home and says, something happened. Something really bad happened. All right? And, oh, yeah. Okay. And someone's safety was in jeopardy. Like, her ex shouldn't have cheated on her or whatever. Do you hide her? Or do you say, listen, Dad and I is going to get you the best lawyer we can find. But, you're either going to get in the car and we're taking you in, or we're calling the cops and having them come over. Or do you say, here, we're going to get you on a plane to Mexico? What do you do?
I would definitely make her go in. Yeah. Sorry,
See,
Katie.
my parents would too. See, my parents, the rules with my parents was always, listen, we will bail you out for anything except for drugs, alcohol, and murder.
Right.
See, that's what I always
mama would be like,
that.
I will happily come visit you every week in jail, and I will fund your commissary account, honey, but you got to go.
And I especially told my kids, I said, you call me if you're ever drinking, and we will come get you day or night, whatever. But if you get a DUI, we will not bail you out. You will stay.
My parents said the same thing. And I'm like, you're a bunch of hypocrites. Dad's a drunk. And we have bars in our family. You a bunch of hypocrites.
Oh, gosh. Again, dog is not wanted by LE. Nobody said he was, Spivey. Why are you... I don't get it now. Now you're just going too far.
Like
nobody said dog was wanted by...
He was wanted by law enforcement. What are you talking about? Wait, source your information.
I think meaning wanted, like he's not wanted around. Not like actually like wanted. But regardless,
well, they're making us specify. So I just want clarity.
Yeah. No, he was talking about this earlier, saying that Ellie doesn't want him there, and I'm like, they're not even searching in the same spot. There is nothing that says he can't go search in another area. More power to him. He's doing more than the parents are.
I would agree with Spivey in the beginning though, because dog really like threw a monkey wrench and they're breaking out this $1 million like military boat truck things in the reserve, because dog was like, hey, yo, we're at this campsite at Fort DeSoto, and guess what? Guess who's on the cameras? Guess who's on the list? And the police were like, oh, yeah.
He was never cited there. And we're like,
yeah. It's like, really? And then once you showed up, oh, lo and behold, the daughter was there too. Yeah, I think Dog really embarrassed them, because the difference between Dog the bounty hunter and the FBI is that the FBI can only offer you money on the record. Dog just says, "Here, come to my window. I got $100 for some information. You give me good information, and this hundo is yours." And they'll be
Fire,
like,
that's
"Yeah."
exactly what I said. I think the FBI was just messing with the dad's head.
Mm-hmm. Hi, Kelly. Thank you, Steph. We're entertaining. We're fun and entertaining.
His help was not wanted or approved by law enforcement. 100% agree. He's only impeding the case. It depends on what side of the table you're looking at it from. If you're looking at it from, FBI law enforcement, he's impeding their case. Yeah. If you're looking at it from the Petito side, no.
I'm going to try to shut my camera off and fix
Dude,
it.
if it was my kid missing, I want everybody go out there, search. You don't need to have a badge on to search for my child if they are missing. Dog, come search for my kid. Anybody else who's in, come search for my kid.
Yeah, and the Laundries didn't say, "Hey, everybody help search for my kid." Because, when our kid got home, we had him lawyer up, and then we let him disappear. And we know if we let everybody know that he's missing, people are going to, load up and fucking pack up their pistols and go, "We'll go find him."
I don't know that he wants, I'm not saying he doesn't want the reward money, but he also donated to the reward money. So I don't know that that's necessarily true. Granted, he'll get a lot more in the end than what he put into it, but.
Oh, Dog wants the reward money. I mean, I know that everybody was saying that Dog was trying to push a TV show. And you know what? So what? What? If
he finds him in the end, who cares? Dude, get you a TV show. Like,
yeah.
But nothing comes out of this for Dog for the most part. Like, people are saying he's just gonna have cameras and stuff like that. It won't do him any good if he doesn't find Brian. Nobody wants to watch a show where he doesn't find the guy.
In my opinion, he already earned his keep when he knocked on the Laundrie's door and they called 911 and they left the house. Every day after that at 8 a.m. there was more activity from them coming in and out of the house after he had shown up, and he immediately had results. With Fort DeSoto, immediately had results. So as far as I'm concerned, he's already earned his badge here in regards to
what evidence, baby? He's in Florida. The crime scene is in Utah. I'm not really concerned about any evidence in Florida right now unless he killed more people down there. The only evidence that Dog's finding is evidence of where he may or may not have been, which is not.
I thought that they announced that the police were then now working with Dog, because when Dog was out with the bloodhounds, they had somebody out there ready to bag up evidence.
Yeah. They have a plainclothes officer within Dog's team.
That's what it was. A plainclothes officer.
Being able to collect evidence in the manner that they need to. So no, that's not completely right.
Dog said he found evidence of a campsite, but he didn't say it was Brian's campsite.
Yeah. Fire within, yes. Gang of strippers. I don't anybody. We can get the people from the local taco truck to search for my child, and I will be down. Like, I don't.
Mm-hmm.
This whole attitude of like Dog's just causing troubles, and I'm just like, if their child is missing, they should welcome all help. And Dog's not like where the FBI is, so I don't see how this matters.
Did you see that video of those kids that were lost in the woods?
No. What was this?
Oh my God, I've been crying for 2 days. There were these 3 kids that live by these woods, and they were lost in the woods. It's been cold, it's been raining. They were lost in there for like a day or two.
Oh my gosh.
And they had called off the search, and some off-duty officer who they told them, that's it. No, you got to go. We all got to get out of here. He wouldn't leave, and he found them. He found the kids safe and sound. They've been putting videos of it, little like 1-minute videos on YouTube for like the past day and a half, and having this guy, take off his coat, put it over one of the kids. The kids are, trying to get him out. Like, I was getting claustrophobic watching them with their body cams trying to get out of these woods because it's so wet, it's raining, it's cold, and all you see is trees. Like, you don't see paths or trails. And they kept turning on the police sirens so they could hear the sound to guide their way to the road. And when the kids get through it and they get on the road, they like run to the road, and there's all these cops there and paramedics. And oh my God, I just, their parents just must be thanking every everything. Like, I thank this rock, I thank this tree, I thank this
Right.
booth that my
Yeah,
kids
that would be me.
are okay.
Yeah.
So when you say you would get help from anybody, I believe you.
Yeah. And that's something that's bothered me about this case from the get-go. Don't get me wrong. I know that you can't necessarily go search next with the FBI. And there, that to some extent points to the FBI has not ever been treating this really like a missing person search where they bring everybody out and 300 people of volunteers all go grid search. This has been done as a manhunt from the beginning. But
There's Pinky.
I'm not going to say this is an insult to you, but I'm going to take word from the people who are literally in the group with Dog over yours.
Okay, where's your proof, Spivey? Because this has been all over news media that there is, I guess, plainclothes officers. I heard it was announced that law enforcement was working with them. WFLA, #AskTV, announced it with Hank and that other Josh guy. Yeah. It's been announced.
After there was questions the first week about whether they were working together well or not, or whether there was a fight, there was a police officer put in, like, dude, go Google it. Like, this is kind of like you trying to tell me that his dad was never in an altercation with the Laundries.
Okay,
it's literally documented.
There is, Kay would have to find it, or Katie would have to find it and send it to, because my computer's so slow. They want proof that a plainclothes officer is assisting Dog, because it was announced.
Amy, I love you. Ellie loves Brian to start with. That's right.
Oh, yeah. Good point, Amy. And the one guy that nobody likes, who's part of the people that are yelling outside the laundry home, went and spoke to neighbors that live on the street behind the laundries who claim that they saw Brian running out of the house on the 17th or whatever, which I don't see how that's possible if he's been missing since the 13th. And that the guy that showed up in front of the laundries, one of the neighbors that slapped the guy with the red hat and, got in trouble for assault and shit, that it was his ring cam or security cam that caught Brian running down the street. And it's like, well, then he had to, then what, he went home? No, there's no way. Then somebody said, yeah, he never left. Somebody peeked through the windows and saw him playing video games.
Daughter also said it on her Twitter, Spivey.
Dog the Bunny Hunter has been joined. Oh, right there. Has been joined by plainclothes law enforcement officer. There you go. There's your proof.
I'm sure that's at least in part so that if there is evidence, it can be collected correctly. But regardless, their manhunt here is not, they're looking for Brian. It seems like the feds are looking for evidence in the reserve.
I don't even know who you're talking about with this Twitch person. Sweetheart, we're showing you an article right there. It doesn't have anything to do with that Twitch person. So I don't even know who that is.
Yeah, I don't know why they're talking about a Twitch person. Oh, look, we're rearranged. I feel like the Brady Bunch.
I'm looking up. Chat, this one person told Newsweek he plans to be out in the field searching for laundry on Friday, accompanied by plainclothes. Please help. Thank you. Thank you, Banana Doc.
Katie, why are you muted? Did you mute yourself?
Yeah, I was drinking.
Okay.
I didn't want to annoy the crap out of somebody.
Hi, doggy.
Oh, Savannah wanted to say hi. Savannah.
Savvy.
I can't get her groomed right now because she's got an ear infection.
When does your dog not have an ear infection?
I told the vet that. I was like, we got to figure this out. She thinks it's from the groomer.
Yeah, Spivey, if you want to believe they're all just lying to you, just go right ahead at this point.
Katie gives no Fs. I want to say it so bad. I want to say the whole word, but I can't. I'm going to get grounded.
I mean,
I'm so
I would
proud
care
of you
more
at
if he hadn't
Katie's
also
night.
argued with me about whether or not the dad was in an altercation with the Laundries at the Laundrie residence. Like, would you like me to personally narrate the
Oh,
police report
well,
for you?
since Kay has the screen sharing up, just got to get her the police reports. I know I have them saved to my computer. I might be able to put them in the private chat.
I bet he will be found wearing a wig. There was actually somebody that released photos. I don't know if they were a mock-up or of a time that he was like dressed up for something, but that he was in a wig, and they were like, this is what he could look like. And he looked like a whole different person.
He did. He did.
He could have a little bit of hair growing out by now too.
Mm-hmm.
You know, even if you're bald, you're going to get hair growing in.
Yeah.
You know, especially on the edges.
He seems like a hairy dude. I still think it's weird. Well, except for the top of his head, obvious. But I still think it's weird that when the police asked him to pull up his shirt so they could look for marks, he didn't want to do it on the road. He was like bashful and shy about it, and like hid behind the van, and they would only lift his shirt like up to his nips.
Yeah, I thought that was weird too.
I'm thinking his whole chest must be like fucking hair. There's lots of like Yeti hair. Like that's where all the hair on the top of his head went, was right there.
Spivey, go find somebody else to harass.
Katie's done.
You're not even fun to toy with at this point. You're just annoying.
Oh, well, dang it. I'm looking for police reports. I don't know what was said. Oh, my God.
There you go, Steph. I'm Kay. That's Katie, and that's Irish. Yeah, it's hard when they can't see the names.
Fire, I agree with that. Tim and Fire. He likely has some hair by now, and he's probably lost a considerable amount of weight.
Unless he's in Mexico. You can eat cheap there.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I've always felt like he's in Mexico. That's just my opinion, you guys. That's
I
not a
think
fact.
he is too.
That Gabby's all trails updated to Puerto Rico the next day. So could have been him on his way.
I just have always felt like he went to Mexico.
Same. Warm climate.
Yeah.
Less clothes.
Lots of trails.
Less clothes. The backpack would be smaller because you wouldn't need as much stuff in there.
Now, Spivey, come on. I never said I knew more than the FBI. That was not said. Facts not in evidence.
Project much?
No, I never said I know more than the FBI either. You can try to put words in my mouth, honey, but it isn't going to work.
Yeah, Spivey started out respectful, but now it's kind of going downhill.
Yeah, now it's just boring. So here's my thing with Mexico. Mexico extradites to us, though. So is it just on the hopes that the cops wouldn't?
Do they if it's a death penalty?
They do. They don't care.
Oh, okay. I wasn't sure.
I'm sure Mexico likes to use it to try to get some of their own people back from us as well.
Thanks, Godmother. Yeah, somebody else said he was working at Publix.
Yeah.
And then somebody else said, Iris, that somebody did try to interview Publix and they wouldn't talk.
Yeah, I imagine. They're like, please don't drag us into this.
Still not to bring it up. Like, who cares? When has the media ever cared?
Yeah.
Like, unless they were ordered, like, you can't say.
No, like they went to interview Publix and Publix said no comment. They wouldn't talk about it.
Why not talk about it? Still, why not say we went to interview and nobody would say a word?
What if it's bad? Say like none of the employees there have a nice word to say about Brian, and their family is a litigious bunch of naysayers and may or may not sue them, and Publix is like, how about no? Like, I imagine that there's just like, if you couldn't say something nice about Brian, it could be construed as libel and his family might come after you kind of thing.
I would lean more towards Canada, but I felt like Mexico is easier. I've heard it's really hard to get into Canada right now.
Mm-hmm.
Really hard to get in because of COVID. But that could be too.
Dumb.
Dumb. We needed a little laughter here. The earth is flat, Beyonce is white, and Spivey's mine. They got good sandwiches. Let's hear what Katie has to say.
Even Spivey's saying that, none of Brian's friends would be willing to come forward because they'll get attacked.
Mm-hmm.
Name me a friend that has. Name me a friend of his that has tried to come forward.
I honestly think it's because nobody has anything nice to say about him.
I don't think he has
I
any
agree,
friends.
Sean.
Yeah, Sean.
I think if we could find his gamer tag, we'd find a lot more people online that know about Brian.
Probably, yeah. Snow White.
Oh, Snow White. Oh, I know, Kate. I'm the same way. Snow White's going there.
Nice there.
So
I
funny.
like it. Dom, I think Cuba's actually a good point too, because at least his dad, I believe his mom is too, but they're Cuban. So I don't know if they still have any family ties back there either. So Cuba could be a good point.
Yeah, because that would be, no, you guys know I don't do geography, but that would be fairly close, right? To where he was.
What?
Cuba.
Cuba? Yes. Especially with the stuff with all.
I know that much geography.
I was reading the comment about New York,
Spivey,
and I was like, wait, Mama,
you're literally just
detailed.
trolling now. So, I'd just mute that person.
He's not a good troll. Let him embarrass himself.
They're literally copy pasting what they said before.
Oh, are they? I don't see it. Where is it?
I don't see it.
There is absolutely no law enforcement helping the dog.
Oh, I'm.
There's absolutely none. None of his friends will come forward because they're all scared. Well, why would they be scared, man? What, are they worried that the FBI is going to question them because of their good old friend, Big Bri, who likes to kill women? Is that why? Oh, shit. I set him off now. Sorry, I said the S word, but technically that's poop. Technically it's fecal matter. Said in another word.
I don't know. Kathy, I tried to look a while back about whether he speaks Spanish. I don't know if they spoke Spanish in their home. Given his parents are first generation, I would assume he at least knows how to speak some, but I haven't been able to find anything anywhere that says whether he does or not. I agree, Snow. I feel like Mexico, especially when you're white passing, is a little scary if you don't know your way around and you don't know what you're doing. Cartels are heavy at the borders right now.
You're gonna need a big in the swear jar.
Carly, you're gonna need a bigger jar.
Tim, I think that's so weird that they're using a real estate attorney. I would have honestly felt like they should have upgraded the attorney by now, but apparently they really like the guy and trust him. So, and I get that too.
We knew we were dealing with a real winner when he's going, you guys stop posting bad things on my Yelp. I mean, I was like, wow, you are in one of the most high profile cases and will be for a very long time. Your Yelp is the least of your worries, son. You need to move.
Yeah, Alan, I don't think they can't really charge him until they find him.
Spivey, you seem to be such a self-proclaimed knowledgeable person. Why are you asking us questions about the Laundrie family? You seem to have them all. You should be educating us. Now you have my attention. You wanted my attention. Now you have my attention. Now is the time. Educate me.
See, Tim, that's what I was saying. I was thinking he must have been a family friend for a lot of years. And that's a lot of trust they probably have in him. And I get that. That's worth a lot. But I still think, given how big this has gotten, they might want to talk to an attorney with more experience.
In all honesty, though, he has done kind of a good job. If we kind of look that they haven't had to go in, they don't have to talk to anybody. I mean, hubby goes out to the truck 20 minutes before the FBI shows up cordially. I mean, the lawyer, he's actually been doing his job.
Thank you, Amy. Have a good night. I think we're going to have to say goodbye to Spivey because it's just not adding anything. I hate to do that, Spivey, because I normally never block somebody.
I don't even see him talking anymore. Did they block me?
Yeah, they were saying his parents are Cuban, ?
His family is Cuban, yes.
I just asked a question. Someone started, I think you meant stated, Mom and Dad were from Cuba. I was asking a question. I don't feel like it was that innocent, but that's how I felt, Tim. I felt like the attorney's kind of over his head. But I get the trust thing. If you've known somebody for 20 years, and it's probably really hard for them to trust anybody right now, because there's probably a lot of people trying to get to him just for clicks and views. See, this person said it's easy to sneak across to Canada, but other people last week were saying it's really hard right now.
If you go where there's a actual border crossing, it's hard. They're still very shut down. But if you go across the thousands of miles where there is no border crossing, like say northern Montana, there's nobody out in those woods.
Does Cassie's husband still have family in Guatemala? The 4 kids lived together for quite a while. Can you get to Guatemala from Florida?
I mean, as well as you could get to Mexico. You'd need a plane, well, or a really nice boat, but
I just don't feel like he's anywhere in that area. But, before I thought, sure, they must have seen him on the trail cam, and that's why they kept searching that one area. But now they're saying they haven't found anything.
Right. I still can't tell, are they? Yeah, I can't tell if it's a lie. Like, why would you keep expending all of these resources for 3 weeks if you found nothing? Like, that's just wasteful.
It seems odd.
Maybe KJ did have him in her basement.
Maybe they should have searched the house. If he made it to Cuba, Mexico, the easiest way would have been from his uncle's boat launch in southern Florida. Is that the yacht company they own?
But they don't, when I looked that up, I sent you that information. I don't think they own it anymore. I think they got rid of it as of 2016.
Oh, I didn't see that. When did you send me that?
With my novel. Sorry. It kind
No.
of. It kind of probably got blended in. Did I not send it to you?
I don't think so. I'll have to look again. From Florida, you could walk across Quebec or in northern Michigan. Oh, thanks so much, Dom. I appreciate it.
Yeah, isn't there Quebec? Isn't there like a river? Like it's like Canada and America is literally separated by a river.
Yeah, at the Detroit
like a
crossing.
Creek, like a creek. You could literally just walk right across it. And I remember seeing somebody who was there, and he was sitting in the car, and he took a picture. And he goes, look at that. He goes, if I walk across that creek right now, I'll be in Canada. And I was like, get out of here. It's that easy. What? That was like a year or two ago. I was like, oh my goodness.
Well, there's
I've been wanting to go to Canada so bad.
I can't remember if it's part of Wyoming or if it's part of Michigan, but there's a spot that's like actually across a lake. And looking at it on the map, you would assume it was Canada, but it's actually part of the United States. And it's a just land barrier in between. It's a nothing.
So how many in here feel like he's still in that area? Does anybody?
I don't. I never thought he was in a swamp. The skin can't take it. The skin can't take that much moisture for that long. Like,
well, they said in the bugs, in the gators.
Right, like with that moisture of skin, and then you get a bug bite, it'll be an open wound, and it's not going to heal.
Plenty of supplies and somebody resupplying him.
Like you have to at some point get dry.
No, Alan, I think people's complaint about what you said is that you're saying from Florida you could walk across to Quebec. Those two things don't border.
So does anybody here think he's not alive anymore?
Oh, I think he's alive.
I do too. But I've seen a lot of people on Twitter don't think he's alive anymore.
Even if his parents, I think, thought that their kid was dead after everything they've gone through, I don't think they would be out in the backyard gardening with allegedly Mr. Hand thing from
That
the
hand
Addams
thing
family.
was so ridiculous. There was no hand.
I think too many people saw the Addams family and think that stuff's real.
Right.
I don't know. They want Brian to put a light bulb in his mouth and see if it lights up like Uncle Fester. I don't know.
See, it looks like most people in this chat feel like he's alive.
Mhm.
I think his parents do too, because they gave him a really good head start.
What state I was thinking of. I don't know if anybody follows Sharon Says So on Instagram, but she's fabulous. She likes to include like random facts about geography and stuff, and I cannot remember which state she was. But it was like...
Yeah, I don't think he'd go on the Appalachian Trail because there's so many people on that trail. It'd be hard to hide from people if you were on the Appalachian Trail.
You know, when somebody mentioned seeing him in Tennessee, I joked when Emily Baker had tweeted out that she was going to see the Dave Matthews Band. And I was like, oh man, should we see if Brian Laundrie is a Dave Matthews Band? Because I've been hearing he's up on the Appalachian Trail and he can't get over there to Tennessee. And then somebody said that there was a sighting. I was like, God, I was just joking. I mean, I wasn't being serious. I agree, Carly.
Mm-hmm.
He's definitely a narcissist. And I keep trying to think in my mind, what did he tell his parents? Like, he must be closer with his dad, that he flew home, moved stuff out of storage right after the police incident, stayed home a week. And his dad must have been like, yeah, man, your mom beats my ass all the time, too. I understand, son. She holds all the money. We'll get you out of there, son. Or is he just a mama's boy?
Or all of the above.
Well,
yeah, he has to have a lot of sightings in Tennessee, but I just don't think they were him.
I caution any man that wants to shave their head right now.
Yeah, I do too.
You know?
Poor guys.
Yeah.
But
yeah, I agree. I agree with Just Steph. He would definitely have done it where he would be found.
Yeah.
And then the weird field trip.
What weird field trip?
The weird field trip that the father drove the FBI by in a condo that he had just sold in March. I was surprised to see anything in Chris Laundrie's name, as a matter of fact. But the condo he had just sold in March of this year. And I'm like, I mean, obviously they knew about it, so they must have talked about it, and he agreed to drive them by it. Who did he sell it to? Did he sell it to the realtor so it's empty? Is that where they're storing Brian? Like, where is Gabby's stuff? Yeah. Like, we still don't know where like these two people weren't married. They weren't even, I don't even know if they're in.
But I read that Gabby's parents asked the Laundries for Gabby's stuff back, and they won't give it back.
Right. They never even spoke to her. Like, you're right. They did inquire, but they never spoke to Gabby's mother. So Brian and Gabby,
they weren't ignoring everything.
They weren't even together long enough to be common law marriage.
Mermaid, you could make some money with that idea.
And she's already been verified to be deceased, so her next of kin is her parents. So why in the hell? Like, where is her stuff?
Yeah.
I mean, did they finally turn it over by now and maybe they're not saying anything? Because I haven't heard the parents talk about it anymore. So maybe the police are in possession of it, and then said, once we're done, we'll release everything. That could be.
Yeah, that could be.
Yeah, I wonder if it was a real storage facility or if it was like somebody's garage.
Yeah, that whole story is so suspect, though. You would fly all the way back just to do that?
Yeah, because they asked Cassie, they said, was it a storage, was it true about the storage facility? And she corrected them and said storage locker. I was like, oh, okay, we're going to play word salad. All right.
But like, even, I don't know, it's just weird that like we haven't heard anything about that. Like, nobody's gone and searched that. Nobody's, like, if I was the family, I'd be getting a judge involved so that we could get her stuff out of that locker.
Supposedly he closed the locker down when he flew back. That
Oh,
was
I thought he flew in and was like moving stuff out of his house to put in the locker.
That's not what did you read?
No.
I read that he
No.
flew back, emptied the locker, he said, to save money.
To save money. Yeah.
And emptied it.
Then
And
people
like
tried
people
to
said,
say, then people try.
Go ahead.
Then people tried to say it was the parents. That's when the
Yeah.
divorce rumors came up, and they said that it was the parents, like the dad or somebody was moving his stuff in there. It's like, no.
See, Tim, that's what it couldn't be $60-$80 a month. So he wasn't hardly saying, I mean, the cost to fly back to empty a $60 a month locker, it doesn't add up.
No.
Now they got into a fight, I think, after the police thing, and probably broke up or fought or whatever.
Yeah.
That's what I'm thinking.
The whole locker story just never added up for me. It does, you don't spend $350 on a flight. Well, it would be more than that round trip.
Yeah.
You could be talking
Especially that
$800
kind of
to save on a $60 a month locker.
I can't
That
fly
makes
from
no
Ohio
sense.
to New York for that money. Wi-Fi?
Yeah, what's the
Dawn?
plane ticket cost? What's the plane ticket cost that they bought for them to fly home, for him to fly home to save money?
I know.
Yeah, and then fly
even if he
back.
flew on like
And
the
then fly
cheapest
back.
of airlines, you're talking
Or-
at least a couple $100s.
Or okay, then was it a private plane? I think the family knows a lot of people. I think that being in business, you get to know a lot of people in different. I know people that, pilots for Blue Jet, they fly helicopters and private planes and shit. Like, you get to meet a lot of people, which is why I wondered why the police have been so like relaxed with them and casual with them and almost like polite. And then somebody goes, "Oh, Irish, but did you hear that Mama Matriarch used to be an assistant DA?" And I'm like, "What?" I'm like, well, that would make a lot of sense. But when you look up her work record, I don't see any work record for her in Florida besides her business. I see a work record for her in New York. A decent.
I saw
lengthy one.
some. I looked up and there was something like she worked in the government office, but I never saw that she was like maybe as an assistant to the DA, but not as an assistant DA.
I didn't even see I don't even know if I saw the government office. I
She
just saw
only made like
office assistant or
$30,000 a
something.
year. Even assistant DAs make more than that usually.
Oh.
So I'm thinking it was more like she was an assistant to somebody, unless.
I think so too, Carol. I think he held that over her head all the time that he was going to leave her because it scared her, especially out on a hiking trail. Nobody wants to be left alone out there. That's scary for anybody.
That's cool, BTU.
She was a legal secretary for the DA's office.
Yeah, that seems more in line with what I saw.
Well, you would think a secretary would make more than that, though. That's bad. Of course, maybe it was a while back.
Yeah, I don't think she's worked more recently.
Maybe it was before the labor shortage.
Certainly.
Apparently, everybody at FedEx in my area quit this week because they're delaying all my shipments for no labor.
Oh my God. It took me, honest to God, it took me like 6 days to get a FedEx order from Walmart for ibuprofen that was on the truck. It was on the truck and said it's going to be delivered on Sunday. And I'm like, okay. And then it says delayed or possibly delayed. And it was all in red. So then Monday comes around, no package. Tuesday, by midday Tuesday, I'm like, oh no, I'm calling FedEx. And then they like to think I'm retarded and try to read back to me exactly what I just told them, what my status says on my end. Well, it appears that your package was on the truck since Sunday. And then it got to I'm like, yeah, genius. I can read. I go, where the hell is it? Well, we don't know. It should be there by the end of business day to 8 p.m. I said, listen, we've already been through the song and dance. It's now Wednesday, and I don't have it. I said, I think it's safe to say that it was stolen, that maybe they could shake it and hear that it's pills. I hope that they're having good fun on my ibuprofen. My cramps aren't doing well. So what are we going to do about this?
I finally got mine today, but mine was delayed 2 days because
I got mine yesterday.
They had nobody to drive the trucks this week.
And it had been through hell. It looked like it had been through war. It was.
So I get HelloFresh a couple times a month, like the meal delivery service. You know, that kind of has to be delivered on a certain day to not be a stinky pile of rotten meat. And like last 2 or 3 deliveries, they've had to refund me because FedEx delivers it like 3 days late. And I had to cancel because I was like, I know it's not necessarily on you guys, it's on the shipping people, but I can't deal with wasted food and wasted money at this point. Like, you guys just got to stop.
All I'm saying is y'all better do your Christmas shopping early because they're already delayed. Sure.
Yeah.
Post office is already delayed, and FedEx are already delayed.
Post office said 40% of packages will now be delayed. So,
did Gabby talk to her family or friends during the time that Brian was in Florida in mid-August? How was she justifying his absence? She was supposedly in a hotel in Utah while he was in Florida.
I wondered that too, Paula. Like, even if it was like a legit story, I just can't imagine like me being in that situation, being like to my boyfriend, yeah, honey, sure, go spend a few $100s to go clear out a $60 locker. It's cool.
It's so weird. It just doesn't add up. Couldn't the Petitos sue for her possessions? I think they could unless the police have them. We don't know.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't think they would have taken all of her stuff from the laundry house, but they might. I don't know.
Yeah.
She lived with him for a year, so she had to have stuff there.
It hasn't been brought back up, so I'm kind of thinking the police have it.
That's what I kind of think too, since the Petitos aren't talking about it anymore.
Did you watch the interview on WFLA with the woman who I kind of have an issue with? She was talking to Joseph Petito, Joe Walsh. Oh, what's that other girl's mom who was missing in Aruba? And then another mom
like
who
15 years ago.
Natalie Holloway was it?
Oh yeah.
Talking to her mom, and then talking to another mom of a little girl that was kidnapped and murdered. I got the distinct impression by watching Joe's body language that he was getting really angry with what Joe Walsh was saying. Like, Joe Walsh was like, let's not forget that Joe Walsh is the one that's been going around saying that Gabby was beaten to death. He slipped and said that again, and Joseph Petito did one of those closing of the eyes and opening his eyes really slow. Like, I got the read from his body language that he was not happy with everything that Joe Walsh was saying.
I wonder why Walsh keeps saying that.
Or John Walsh, whatever it is, John Walsh.
Yeah, it's John, isn't it? John.
It is John.
I
Joe
get it. It's
guitarist.
a J. I'm 157. I'm 157. I'm lucky I remember my own name.
Samesies.
God. But yeah, he did not look. Have you seen that, Kay?
No, I've got to look for that.
Oh, I'll get you the link. That? Oh my gosh, it was like.
Yeah, because Mermaid said the same thing. He did not seem impressed or appreciative of that interview at all.
He did not.
I mean, I don't think it's professional of John Walsh to keep telling Brian to unalive himself, but also knowing Walsh's history and why he's in the industry that he is, I think he's taking this whole thing very, very personally.
See, I saw just that clip of him saying that, and I thought, boy, he's really changed as he's gotten older.
He is so
he didn't used to be like
mad
that
about this case. Like, he is ripping that family apart.
I think I feel he's going a little too far.
He's also ripping the police apart, in my opinion, in good ways. He's like, in the time that it took them to, it delayed that they did this, they probably cleaned down the camper, got rid of her stuff. Like, he's listing off everything that they easily could have done in that 10-day span where nothing was searched or looked at. And I agree with him. I'm just a little surprised that he's so smashing.
I think he's just a little too brutal about it, you know?
Yeah. I think it's just, it's a very personal nerve for him, given his daughter and everything. So,
No, it was his son.
or yeah, you're right. It was his son, but I think it's just it's hit very close to home, and he's throwing all of the punches for it.
I don't watch the Psychic Celeste, but I think Irish does.
It depends. I only watch one, actually, that Aphrodite.
This one's asking about Donna Serafina.
Never heard of her.
Apparently, was spot on with Chris Watson Daybell.
Oh,
Interesting.
that is interesting.
Well, what did they say? Tell us. You can't just give hints.
Interesting, Tim.
Oh, that was squashed many years ago, Tim. Many years ago. That just isn't true. Which is funny because I just read a book about it, about Dahmer. And that they had like 3 chapters on that, on why that couldn't have been him. I'll have to look that up. Celeste is not going to tell us. Unless it's real graphic, we don't want to do that.
Yeah.
There wasn't enough money to monitor Brian Laundrie prior to running away, yet there's cops at 2 houses now protecting. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, I don't care what they say. That was a huge screw up on their part that he wasn't under surveillance.
Mm-hmm. I think there's too much family connection to the police in that town. And I think when you look at the amount of 911 calls just in the week before that they acted like the police were their personal servants. You or I made 4 911 calls in a week that weren't pretty freaking legit, and we'd get abusive 911 citations handed to us.
Oh,
and
yeah.
They apparently have a long history of just using this. And I mean, just the simple fact that they knew that the police knew that this guy's daughter was missing and didn't file anything for 10 days because it wasn't in the Laundrie's family interest to do so. You know.
What documentary was it, Tim? That's so odd because this book I read isn't a new book, but they talked about how people kept saying that Dahmer could have been responsible, and they proved that he wasn't. Plus, when Dahmer went and was interviewed for days and days, he gave the police everything. Mm-hmm. They said everything he gave them was 100% true. He never lied about one thing. And there was some horrific things that he could have lied about to take away the shame, but he didn't. So I think if he had, he would have fessed up. Yeah, look and let me know. Now I'm kind of curious. Oh, see, I don't think that's such breaking news, Celeste, because you could almost say that just from looking at the pictures of where they found her. Mm-hmm. I mean, you know, that's kind of I could guess that. You know what I mean? Not being disrespectful. I get you like this person in their channel, and that nothing wrong with that, but it would have to be more detailed for me to believe it was. I hope that makes sense. Oh, they did it before they found her. Well, that would be different. I have to look up if that's the book I just read. I read so many books that I never remember the titles. Let me go look. I read about a gazillion books a week. It's the only way I can go to sleep is if I read myself.
I sent you the link to that interview in private chat. That's how long it took me to get it from my computer. Because if I have a thought, I have to leave the room because I have a Chromebook.
Yeah, Tim, I agree. It wouldn't have been in Dahmer's normal to have a kid that young. But there was, I mean, I know the guy later took his confession back, but there was a confession that was very convincing at the time. I love how this conversation just organically moves towards Dahmer.
I've watched movies about it. It's about it. Natalie Holloway. Oh my God.
I can't even. When that was going down, I was working for Caterpillar, the big earth moving machine company, and they have a central command kind of thing, and we were required to have 2 news channels on at all times in case something affected one of our facilities internationally.
Oh, interesting.
And I worked the 3rd shift, and they did a lot of replays of Nancy Grace on 3rd shift.
Okay.
And I was so tired of hearing that woman talk about Natalie Holloway.
Oh.
I'm like, can we please find another news station to listen to?
Oh, it's so weird now. I can't find the book that I just read. That's bizarre. Let me see what Iris sent me. Oh, it's a YouTube video.
Yeah, it's the interview with the 4 parents.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
That's so weird that I can't find the book now. Now I feel like, where did the book go that I just read?
And John Walsh is always trying to interrupt her because he always has something to say. Like, I like John Walsh. I've liked him for a long time. In regards to this particular case, he kept saying a couple things that rubbed me the wrong way. Where, he was like, you got to feel for, so and so Holloway. She doesn't even get a body to bury, and then he talked about how he got, his son's head and all this stuff, and I'm like, God, dude, it's like, yeah, I get it, but I feel like how like that Stevie person was feeling, how they feel like dogs taking the limelight. I kind of feel that way a little bit about John. I feel like he's like got a little skip in his step because he's got something to talk about. I'm not trying to be mean, but when I'm watching this interview and I know that they can see each other, and to read Joe Petito's body language, he does not like hearing this man sit here and talk about how he thinks his daughter was killed.
Yeah. But how much of it is that he just can't stand to hear how his daughter died in general?
See, I don't believe that, DJ. That's really not true, because I keep pointing to the Stotch case where they had her under surveillance, and that's why they broke the case. That's how they found what they found, because they were following her. So
that is horrific. Horrific. And I can relate. I'm sorry to cut you off, Kate. I can relate to that so much because my best friend was kidnapped, molested, and murdered when I was 7. And that's why my dad had to move me and my family north and put us in private school, because it was such a small town situation where 4 kids were. And so to read what, she just said, my little brother was almost kidnapped. Oh my God, that's horrific.
Yeah.
Well, that's terrifying.
I do agree. Like, I mean, I think this goes back to that whole, there's not technically, you can say the cops didn't do something wrong, but we have plenty of cases where they started watching somebody before they were declared a person of interest. Because who's the first person that you look at when somebody goes missing? The boyfriend, the husband, the wife, the spouse.
There were articles.
He was just able to walk away.
There were articles, or not articles. I think somebody had asked that JB guy from WFLA a question where he pulls up questions and reads them. And somebody had said that when the Petitos had reported Gabby missing, that an undercover cop went to one of their next door neighbors or one of their neighbors and asked to set up a surveillance camera. That day. It was asked on WFLA, I think either yesterday or the day before, and I was like, this is the first I've heard of this. Because the one house next door looks very accommodating. Like they got like a tent set up, like the side where the camper is. Like they got like tents set up, and that's where Brian Enton is out there like 24/7 doing live streams and stuff, is on that yard. I don't see anybody filming from the other neighbor's yard across the street. Yeah. So I wonder if they did have a camera set up.
It's interesting, especially that it hasn't had anything said about it.
I haven't seen that, Fire. What's the name of it? I gotta watch that. I'm always looking for something new on Netflix to watch.
I just wonder if there's a lot of stuff they can't say.
It is weird, though, how
Yeah.
the Northport police keep, like, going back and forth.
Oh, is it the Monsters Inside show, Fire? I knew that they were doing an episode on somebody from Ohio State, but I didn't know it was that one.
What's up, Billy?
I'm always looking for Netflix. I finished Downton Abbey. I was so mad that it was only 6 seasons.
I wanted to watch that Lola something or other like about that pyramid scheme, that woman that did those leggings.
Oh, yeah.
I wanted to watch that.
I heard.
See, it was so funny because I followed that woman on TikTok that is in Lula Rich, and she was just on Watch What Happens Live. It was a big surprise. She was the bartender.
Mm-hmm.
I was so happy for her. Have you seen it? That one's on Amazon Prime.
Don, I thought the same thing. Why would a family wait 10 days to report their adult child missing? If it was me,
even when it was
I
just
had lost
supposedly
contact.
3, like who waits 3 days?
No, I think that they're referring to the Petito.
Oh,
family.
they were repeatedly trying to report her earlier than that.
Oh, they were?
Yeah. They kept they were calling them, trying to ask. The dad comes over. All of that's happening. The dad told the police then that they hadn't seen from or heard from his daughter in 10 plus days.
I looked back at the footage of that girl from Miranda. Was it Miranda Baker? Who initially said that she gave him a ride. I went back and I looked at the footage of the picture. She said, here's the parking lot that we dropped him off on, and here he would have been in between 2 cars. And I was looking at the cars there to see if any of them looked like the dad's truck. There was a red truck there, but it was like a bright red, and I think it was a Chevy. It was a different model.
See, a lot of people think he was trying to get back to the van.
I think he was trying to get back to the van too. I keep, when she shows the map and she says, this is where we went, this is the way we took, and then she says it's weird that he didn't know his north from his south, that he freaked out. And I'm thinking, when he got a ride from her, did he get done like burying and already hiding her stuff? Like her phone and all that stuff.
Wasn't there a jurisdiction issue? Parents in New York, Gabby in Wyoming, but she lived in Florida.
They also didn't know. Is she in Wyoming still? Is she somewhere else?
See, I think everything was so up in the air.
Yeah, Yellowstone. Did she go back to Florida? Like, they didn't know where she was or where she was supposed to be even. They just know all of a sudden she's not taking calls and stuff like that.
I did think that's wild that they think they found who the Zodiac killer was.
Yeah, but of all the things, people are like, Gary.
People are joking about that, saying, wow, they found out who the Zodiac was before they found Brian Laundrie.
Sad but true.
Yeah.
I'll have to watch for that documentary.
Can I get a 1 in the chat if you think Brian Laundrie is in the swamps of Florida? A 2 if you're like, hell no.
This is why I love Iris. She's so funny.
It's just a hell no. See, hell no.
Carly, now I'm going to be sad. They're not going to do a 3rd season of Mindhunter?
Oh, they're not?
Bossy, you think he's in the swamps, girl.
We're saying like swamps or like in general, like he's in Florida.
I'm anywhere in any swamp area. They claim that the parents say that he is or was or likes to. I don't think he's there.
Trust anything the parents say. I feel like I can't rule out that he's still in Florida somewhere, although I think he's kind of dumb if he is.
I kind of thought that they were keeping him close for financial reasons. Yeah, it says that their net worth is $5 million, But usually net worth, that goes by assets, by what you own, like the value of their house, their
Property,
car,
and
their
their
property. Yeah.
business
Mm-hmm.
and all
So,
that too.
You know, liquid cash. I don't know.
Paul thinks he's not alive anymore.
Right.
I think he is, and I don't think he's in Florida.
Yeah.
The bunker in the backyard, Billy. You mean the hand, like the Addams family, the thing that helping her garden, like, you know.
The Saddam Hussein bunker.
Oh my God.
See, Don, I don't think he would ever do that to himself. I think he's too in love with himself to do that.
Yeah. I think he's far too narcissistic to have unalived himself somewhere where he wouldn't be found.
Yeah, Tim, they left us hanging on BTK. Oh, I'm so sad Mindhunter's not coming back. Dang it.
And his parents seem too chill. Like, they seem too relaxed.
Yeah, that's how I was like, I feel like if there was even a question about whether he was alive or not, that his parents wouldn't be like gardening in the backyard.
Right.
Like, listen, Mom, if I'm ever missing and you're freaking gardening 3 weeks into it, you and I going to have some words when I
That's
get
probably
back.
not going to happen. I can guarantee you that's not going to happen.
I have some words.
But I have some words too, because I've been watching TikToks where people are putting their parents with Alzheimer's on TikTok. Katie, if you do that to me, I'll come back and haunt you.
Oh, that's terrible.
Do not put me on TikTok if I come up
Unless
with
you're
Alzheimer's, okay?
What if you're like hilarious though?
Okay,
No.
we have a plan. And you know,
Listen,
you just
if
have to
it
go
got
along with
into the creator fund and it helped pay for like your memory unit and shit
No.
stuff.
We'll listen, it'll help pay for a better webcam.
No, I would not. Yeah.
Well, you don't like the red. I don't know why
I do
Irish
not.
doesn't like the red.
You're
No,
constantly looking like you're
alternatively-
blushing.
You know the TikToks where they have like the two old grannies and they're like dancing and they're like
Yeah.
jumping
Yeah.
and stuff like that. I feel like that will be us. Okay.
That would be much better.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
I've
At
seen
this
quite a
point-
few. I'm like, why are you putting your poor parents on there with Alzheimer's? Why are you doing that? Stop it.
Also, you know, like there's those accounts that have like she's 90 and she's completely with it and she just cusses and yells at people and
Yeah,
is
I like
hilarious
those.
and tells jokes. That
But
could
these
also
ones
be
where
it.
they have Alzheimer's are just sad and depressing, and I don't know why they're doing it.
That's unless it's just for pity.
Well,
points
I
and
am
trying
going to
get
get a better
cash, but-
camera, Irish, so there. I just don't know what to get. You let me know what to get, and I'll get it.
I have no clue.
See, she's no help.
Absolutely none. I say buy booze.
I feel like that's a better.
It is. Everybody looks good in red lighting.
I don't know. It's weird that it's never done this till tonight.
Like, if you drink enough booze while you're doing this, you won't care what you look like on the camera after a while.
This would be bad if I was
That's
drinking on
creepy.
live. It would be so bad.
My mom's a lightweight.
I am.
I get it from her.
Same.
It's like 2 drinks, and I'm just all happy and smiling and giggling, and that's about all
The
you'll get.
last time I threatened to bring tequila with me this time, and instead I have coffee from 10 this morning because that's
Ew.
life with a toddler. It's been in the fridge, but still.
Oh, somebody is asking. I'm Kay. That's my daughter, Katie, and
I love that coffee.
that's Irish.
What?
People were asking who we are.
I feel
You
like
did
Irish
not
is
win the
like a crazy
popcorn,
ant.
Kiki. But when this goes down, you watch for the replay to come up. You don't have to watch it, but just wait till it comes up. Make a comment, and we'll pick a winner from the comments.
Yeah. Speaking of, you didn't bring me popcorn last time you came to watch my child.
No, but we brought marshmallows
Okay, but
because
this is
that's what
something.
Ellie wanted. It's all about Ellie.
It's true. She carried that bag around after you guys left. If he is alive and he is found, I think he will be facing 3 murder charges. I think
he's
eventually he
involved with
will
the other
be.
2 women. You think that
See,
Do you?
Katie does. Katie's always thought that. I don't.
Katie do?
I don't
too?
believe in that close of a freaking coincidence that they were at the same place.
It is strange.
It
And,
is
okay,
great.
so you guys know last time I talked a lot about the coincidences between Brian and Oyster in the book Lullaby. Well, also in Lullaby, 2 women are shot and put in a shallow pond, which is how these women were found as well. I'm feeling like there's a lot.
The 2 women, weren't they found in their vehicle?
I don't believe so.
I thought they were found in their vehicle. Kay, Google it.
Google it. Now that's the 2 women.
That's
in-
your cue, Kay. Listen, we can do this without you. I'm just
We cannot do this without.
Hey, every time I turn my camera off, Katie's like, it's my channel now.
It's funny.
Like, quick, let's say bad things before she comes back.
I'm the captain now.
This is my shit. She always comes back, though. Thank God. Let me see.
Yeah,
I'm looking.
Thought the two women were found in their vehicle. And what was weird is that they had texted somebody and said, like they showed the texts that somebody had sent to another one. They said there's this creepy guy around our camp and that they were going to be moving where they were camping at.
This just says they were found in that town. It doesn't say found in their car.
Let's see.
Found dead in the small tourist town in Moab, Utah.
Murdered at their campsite. I swear I found something that was they were in like a stream or a creek bed.
See, and I thought someone said, an article said that they were in their vehicle and it looked like they were posed.
Business. I'm your host, Christina Munoz.
What in the world is this?
Sorry.
Oh, okay. I couldn't tell where it was coming from. I'm like, what is this on my computer somewhere? What in the...
They were found in a creek too? See, none of the one I'm looking at are saying exactly where. And see, this one
I'm just going to
says...
start screenshotting everything.
This one says they were found
Oh, KUTV.
shot in the South Mesa area of LaSalle Loop Road.
Yes. Unsealed search warrants say the pair was found dead in a nearby creek, partially undressed and with multiple gunshot wounds to their bodies.
What? I didn't ever hear that article.
Yeah, that's what the one I'm reading says too.
But I just thought that was another very, very direct and very interesting parallel to the Lullaby book.
And didn't they?
There's a lot going on there.
Didn't they also go to that store?
I don't know about the store. I know they were at the bar with them.
See, I thought that the store that they went to, the one woman worked at, and isn't it like a health food store?
I'm not sure.
I thought like a health food grocery store kind of thing.
I know there was something about a grocery store. That they had both gone there or something. Both bought, food and stuff in there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the Moon River something.
Yeah, I hope he's caught too, so we can have him go through the justice system. I feel like he will be caught. I may not be soon.
So they were at the store too, and then they saw them again at the bar. They were at the bar together again that night. I mean, that's
yeah, Moonflower. That was the name of it. The Moonflower store.
Co-op, yeah.
One worked at Moonflower, one worked at McDonald's. It is odd. I give you that, Katie. It's very odd. I usually don't believe in coincidences either, but I don't know. I guess I have a hard time seeing him do all that, but I could be wrong.
See, I think he's bordering on full
serial
killer. Yeah.
He'd be awful young for one, wouldn't he?
He's also the perfect age for a schizophrenic break. So, I mean,
I guess it would also have to be based on the books that he read that people are bringing up, where he would read these books about women that were.
Where did she go? She can't just disappear.
She's going to come back blue.
This is ours now.
It is. I don't know. He was reading these crazy books.
Phantom, I know the Utah sheriff initially said that there was no connection, but they're rolling that back now and saying that there may be a connection.
I thought they ruled it out so quick.
They did. It was like not even like hours. It was just like, yeah, there's no connection. I'm like,
it's like, why should we believe you?
Witnesses yet? How can you say there's no connection?
Why should we believe you? You drove a murderer and put him up in a nice, cushy motel room. Didn't the sheriff retire after this happened?
I don't believe it's the same one. That's
Oh,
the
okay.
sheriff of the local PD that pulled them over.
Okay.
I'm back.
There she is.
The woman just walks away.
Fix my
Comes
chair.
back whenever she feels
She's all pink.
Look, Steph's like, does Kay have her camera set on sepia? We don't know what's wrong with my camera.
Kay has her camera set on where she now looks like she's like in her 20s.
It just
Bitch.
turns out she actually lives in hell.
I need to use. What did you say?
Hello, Satan.
You guys are so bad.
Does
And
she
I'm
got
so
the 666 behind her ear, Katie? Tell us. One of us. One of us.
I've been trying to talk her into a tattoo, actually.
Well, that's the one. That's the one she needs.
I have a virgin body from tattoos.
I was gonna say, clarification.
Girl,
for
that
you
was
here,
going to be a
because I
whole nother
exist.
stream. Yeah, that
I
was
was
going to be a
waiting for
whole
her
other
to
stream.
up on that.
Oh my goodness.
You better believe I'll be getting a new camera this week because I cannot fix this. I don't know
Kay
why
and
it's
the
doing
lie
it.
detector.
No disrespect taken, Paul. I think for the most part, unless you're like the person earlier that we will not talk about, we welcome different opinions. And I mean, my mom more or less agrees with you too. She doesn't really necessarily think he's a serial killer.
Yeah, it'd be no fun if we all agree.
I think that if he did it, the motive would have been robbery because they fought about money. And I don't think that he had any money at all. I think he used up all of his money.
Kay is reporting from the 70s. I'm bringing the 70s back.
Oh, Lord.
This dang camera.
Oh my gosh, where's Eric Foreman? I can see him in the back smoking weed.
Where's the poor dog? Then she pops her head up. She's like, you talking about me?
Hi, Zelby.
She's not feeling good. Poor little baby girl.
We need a new
Wi-Fi's
groomer.
just snoozing.
Yeah, I think I'm going to have to get a new one. They think that when they do her ears, they're letting the hair drop down in there. He swears he's not, but.
See, Tim, that's what I'm saying. There's more missing persons cases out there than they've had in 15 years, and then there's also more homicide cases than they've had in 16 years. That's a lot going on. That one person was very close to all of it.
It is odd. The more you guys talk about it, the more I think it's odd, but.
Can't rule it out.
I don't know why. I just can't think of him doing all three, but.
People keep saying he had a gun, but I don't know if they said that he had it on the trip or not. And why wouldn't he point it out to the police? Well, they didn't say that they wanted to search the van. Man, I still can't get over the inside of that van.
Yeah.
Like it was in such disarray.
There's probably a YouTube video how to fix it.
It was in too much of disarray for them to be on a trip. Like it literally looked like everything was just thrown in there.
Well, and they've said that she was kind of like anal
OCD.
about like how it looked. So I still feel like maybe he did that on purpose to upset her.
Agreed.
Kind of like him and his dirty feet and stuff like that.
Agreed.
Or, well, he's speeding and hitting curbs and stuff like that. It's tossing the inside, and he thinks it's hilarious.
Or, I've seen people get in a fight and just start throwing stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm a thrower.
See?
I try not to throw people, but I'm a thrower. Like, that's why I have a new laptop, because my previous one became a Frisbee twice. It had made hardwall impact once.
Oh no, I don't do anything that's going to cost me money.
I break
like
my
that.
own stuff. Like I'll throw my own stuff and break
Right.
my own
Yeah. No, I don't want to have to. I don't want to have to spend money to replace things out of my own stupidity. Not
I mean,
stupidity, but
lesson
like
learned
my own stupid
now.
anger. You know what I mean?
Lesson learned now.
Right.
I mean, but at the time,
Yeah.
I'm just angry and I just threw it. And I had to duct tape the screen. It hung in there though for a couple years.
Oh, I hope not, Mermaid. They're trying a different treatment on her this time, so I'm hoping. I got my fingers crossed.
No.
We tried changing her food. We tried everything.
I would definitely get a new groomer and then tell them to leave her ears alone. Don't even touch her ears.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You remember we had problems with Wi-Fi repeatedly. We've been to the emergency met more times than I can count. We've had to tell his groomers. Well, in his case, it was his booty, but to tell him to leave that area alone when they groom him, and that's
Leave
done
his booty
all the time.
alone.
I know. Please don't touch the booty.
These dogs, my horse friends tease me because I groomed show horses all those years, and I can't do my own dog.
I ain't either.
But I don't know. She's hard.
Dude, when I took, last spring and summer, because everything was shut down, I couldn't take him to a groomer. He's a Maltese, so he has to be groomed. He has to have his hair cut. And he was such a monster when I tried to do it. Like, it was impossible. He ended up having, like, just random patches shaved off for days because I could only get, like, parts of it done. And then, like, I take him to his groomer now, and she's like, he's just the best boy. He just sits there and lets me do anything. And I'm like, whose dog are you talking about? Because my dog's a jerk. But
she's really good about it, but her face is so little. I'm used to doing horses,
Yeah.
See, I think it's possible that Gabby saw him unalive those two ladies.
I think that's a thing too. Or she suspected it, or she walked in on it. Something happened, and yeah. But I also think that he had a plan to unalive her at some point anyway.
Or she could have known about it and said, I'm going to tell.
Yeah.
See, I should just do a pumpkin picture like Iris.
Hell yeah.
And then we don't have to look at my red camera.
Don't you leave me on here by myself. For you. I will come over there.
Katie's like, don't leave me on camera all alone.
I'll look at your camera on Sunday.
We're going to tell everybody. No, that's been Kay all along.
I'm going to get a worse reputation now.
Ouch. Katie, you going to take that?
What am I taking?
Oh, girl, why'd you have to zone on that?
I was reading this comment about
you got roasted by your mom.
She roasts me all the time.
She roasted you.
She's getting me back for saying she was in hell.
Ouch.
That was not nice.
I didn't say you were the prince of hell or anything. I just said you were there, which where you live, it's not. I'm not wrong.
Oh, look, media said only 8% chance the deaths are related. Where do you get that? I'm curious.
Very specific number.
I still can't get over the how they were leaking the other footage in.
Yeah, Paul.
Like the other cop that walks up on Brian's side when they initially pull over, and Brian has this look he even looks so small in the van and looking up at this cop. He looks like a little kid that stole his dad's car, and the cop says to him that we got reports that you were smacking her around, and Brian looks all serious, and he goes, well, I'm not even gonna lie, and he puts up his hands. He goes, I pushed her, and gives some sorry explanation, but then ignores the cop to his left, leans over to talk to the cop in the passenger window, and says, can you call my parents?
Mm-hmm.
I was like, oh.
His whole demeanor was so odd.
It was.
Hi, Doug.
I think his parents paid for everything.
Tim says she could have heard about it on the news, and I've thought that too. So say she meets them at Moonflower, also sees them at the bar that night, hears about it on the news the next day. Women found murdered, and she's like, what's up with that, Brian? Like, I feel like there could be something there too. And he's like, shit, she knows. She suspects. She might tell somebody.
I mean,
see, DJ, that's what Katie thinks. She's been looking at the books he was reading and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Also, I've seen people talk about, because I remember looking at all those pictures that they marked with orange spray paint around the crime scene. They said there's two crime scenes. They said there's the crime scene that's close to the creek, and then there's a crime scene where she was found, where it could be that they had set up a tent, because there's like a little clearing area. And then there's people saying there's signs all over in that area that you cannot camp there due to the wildlife. #bears.
Yeah.
But they said there's two crime scenes. People are saying
that would make sense, because if you look at the pictures, they got stuff marked all over the place.
Yeah.
So it's a bigger area than normally you would think of.
And the person that did the cross was her stepdad.
That just broke my heart.
He was the one that had showed up and identified and made the rock cross. And then it was sad because he even said, I think on Dr. Phil, he said that he had asked them, where her head was. And that's where he put the flowers and the sunflowers and Oh, that
just
was
breaks my heart.
absolutely like no. You're a parent. You don't bury your kids.
Mm-mm.
You're prepared for your kids to bury you. But
Yeah.
you don't bury your
Yeah.
kids.
Mitchie, I'm sorry. I just don't buy it. I don't think there was a hand there or anything else. Sorry.
No.
Y'all, I love me some
No way.
conspiracy theories, but that one's taking the cake for
The
me.
only hand in that video is the girl from TikTok or whatever it was, where she puts that cartoon animated finger going boink, boink, boink. That's the only hand in that video, darling.
Oh, there's another cross done by an unknown person. I didn't know that. I haven't read that.
Billy, I agree.
Huh.
I did read once that then the dad went and made another cross, but I never knew if that was true or not.
Huh.
That the stepdad made, but I don't know if that was true. It was just
They
something I read.
found a gun by her van.
I know
I've
that
never
people
heard
thought
that.
they saw a gun in the video.
On the book behind the van where the
Right.
flip flops were.
but I don't think a
that,
gun was ever recovered.
I don't think that was a gun. It could have been. Can't say for sure, but it looked
Right.
more to me like a cell phone, or maybe even a flashlight.
It's so
I don't
hard
know.
to tell in that video.
It really
Hey, media,
is.
I'm a water sign. Don't say that.
So am I. Aquarius.
I am too.
February 12th, Abe Lincoln's birthday.
See, I'm on the cusp. I'm January 20th.
No.
You weirdos.
So weird.
Mom is like,
She said water signs in general can be close to the edge.
Girl, boy, you don't gotta tell me.
The searchers made the big cross, and the small cross, the stepdad,
In one photo
was where her body was actually found. Okay. That makes more sense than what I read. That's why I kind of didn't think that was true.
What are you talking about?
Who, me?
Don Caesar in one photo she's holding. I gotta scroll back up now. In one photo, she's holding a gun to her mouth, and Brian had a flag painted Glock in his room. Do show this photo.
See, I saw something where she was holding one, but it was like a toy gun to her head. We have to be
Don's
careful what we're
birthday's
saying, though,
February
because
13th.
we're going to get flagged. We're going to
So
get flagged by YouTube.
So don't lie, man. I want to see this photo. We're gonna get flagged for YouTube for what? Listen.
well, if we're talking about
If we're talking
firearms.
about stuff.
Google, what is it? The Google moderator usually nabs me in the chat. So as long as I'm not typing in your chat, I think we're safe. They get me every time. I'm like, quit stalking me, weirdo. No, they
What
would
do
give
y'all
me-
think of Cassie? Is it bad? I believe her. I feel bad for her, too. I feel bad for Cassie.
I think she knows more than she's letting on still.
Agreed.
I still think she knows
Agreed.
a little
But
more.
I think her family turned around and froze her out, and there's a lot of family politics at play there.
Well, she straight up lied. She straight up lied when they first talked to her, and she goes, "No, I never saw him. No." And then she's like, "Yo, F that, man. Their lawyer's trying to throw me under the bus. This is where I saw him." And like, Gabby had sent those, her kids postcards. She referred to her as Aunt Gabby. They called her Aunt Gabby. So don't try and feed us this BS that Gabby was never brought up at the campsite at Fort DeSoto, because your kids would have asked about her. Your kids would have said, "Where's Aunt Gabby?"
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
100%.
But she was close with those kids. Those cards she sent them.
Yeah. Well, and then Cassie had said, when Cassie's like, "I haven't seen him, I haven't talked to him," then she, comes forward and says, "Oh, I FaceTimed with Gabby." I mean, I keep struggling with, okay, they didn't discover this stuff about Brian until after Gabby was reported missing. However, when we think about when people go to trial, right, they don't go by the date that they discovered the crime happened. They go by the date that the crime happened. So even though, they're saying all these, these charges didn't happen until August 30th to September 1st, Why are they throwing out choppers and millions of manpower, dollars of equipment, searching for a guy over $1,000 of credit card charges?
Right.
You know, like you already have a manner of death, which is homicide, which it doesn't necessarily mean murder, because there's manslaughter, but it definitely means that this person died at the hands of another human being.
Hey, Fire, I think that got started on Facebook because I watched that start. Like, I was watching that, and there was two women that kept saying they were close friends of Rose's, and they kept saying that she hated Gabby and that she had the hots for Brian, but I think it was all made up. And then it just went from there. It was like 1 to 1,000 in 10 seconds. And that's how a lot of that gets started.
At first, I thought she was lying because on her social media, there was nothing about Gabby until after Gabby was missing. And then all of a sudden, she's talking about Gabby.
Mm-hmm.
And
yeah, they definitely suspect him. I mean, there's no way they'd be searching for him like this if they didn't. Because as an adult, you have a right to go MIA.
You know, and that guy saying he's 99.99% sure that he ran into a guy going, yeah, I got to get back to I had a fight with my girlfriend. I got to get back to California. Oh, yeah. Like Brian has been careful up until this point that where he's going to say that. Like, if you want to have a cover, say, I got in a fight with my boyfriend, not my girlfriend.
See, that's what I kept thinking, too. I was like, why would he say that and incriminate himself some more? He would never say that.
Makes no sense whatsoever.
No. Me too, Doug. I think we're all sad. I think that's, why it's caught the attention of so many people.
Yeah. I'm sorry if you can hear my dog snoring.
That's okay. We're probably going to jump off here pretty quick. It's getting late here.
I thought it was your mother, so.
I should know Iris should say something.
They put up a really cool website for Gabby, for her foundation.
Oh, yeah, I had the link on here. Let me see if I can find it.
Let It Bead. It's very cute. They have a pretty decent-sized Amazon wish list, which is very reasonable. I went and looked at it. Some of the beads and stuff they're looking for is only like $8. But all the money raised, they're going to, help other people find their lost kids and bring them home.
Yeah, I think it's a great thing. I just hope they stick with it because I know a lot of times when stuff's new, this stuff starts and then over the years it kind of goes away. Which I understand that too. I've just seen it a lot of times with this.
Well, this is a lot of manpower. So I'm hoping a company steps up and, donates like their factory to make the bracelets and stuff, because this is all being done manually. And then it can be a more consistent bracelet, like the Live Strong and, what would Jesus do stuff, like something like that. But yeah, you're right. They're going on pure adrenaline, and what goes up must come down. And they did say on that interview that I gave you the link for that her body has not been released to the family.
No, I don't think they will till they find him.
Yeah.
They're going to find him.
Well, the weird thing about those charges is that another reason why they're being so aggressive is because after the warrant was issued, I think they only have like 30 days or maybe a little more to charge him with that.
Katie still gets his name back in the public's mind. The goal of any reality TV. Exactly. I think he wants to fight him for good reasons too, but he's a showman. He's always going to be a showman.
Yeah. And that's what I was kind of saying. Like, I absolutely think he's down there for some publicity. You don't have your own reality TV show for that many years and not like the publicity, but I also think he's down there for a good reason, and he's spending a lot of his own money and stuff down there.
That is what he does.
To find him. But also, nothing comes out of this for Dog. Not much comes out of this for Dog if he doesn't actually find him or lead to helping find him. You know what I mean? If he helps find him, you could probably see another TV show in his future. If he doesn't do anything and he just kind of peters out of You know, they're not even doing much on Twitter right now. Everything's very quiet. If nothing comes of any of this, it's not going to be like a highlight of Dog's career.
They have to, because it was getting crazy. Even if you looked at Lisa's Twitter, like she was like, you know, the amount of bad leads we're getting is ridiculous to try and sift through all this stuff. But she goes, you know, I still want leads coming in. I've been DMing her. But yeah, the amount of bad leads is, people are nuts. They're crazy. Like, imagine a kabillion anti-KJs.
Yeah.
Like, that's what we're dealing with here. Like, some people want to be helpful and all that. And then some are just, you know, like there's this guy who thinks he's a comedian who's constantly using the Brian Laundrie hashtag. And I'm not talking about Katie Joy. And he's always acting like, oh yeah, oh, this person found Brian's body. And he thinks it's funny. Like, it's disgusting.
It is disgusting.
Katie
These
Joy,
people, they just go too far.
Katie Joy constantly tagging Brian Laundrie with everything she puts out, even if it's
sickening.
not even related. It is gross.
It's so gross.
Yeah.
And she's done way too many videos. I don't believe in anybody doing 2-3 videos on this a day. That's crazy. That's just a money grab.
Don, I don't know what you're talking about here. Why isn't anyone discussing what Steve Bertolio was doing to protect Brian, including paying for his housing? What?
Yeah, I don't know where that came
The
from.
lawyers paying for his housing. I don't know what you're talking about. The Laundrie's, no, I know he's the Laundrie's attorney. Brian's parents have a lot of money. I mean, unless you think, you know, Brian's lawyers wiring him money, where's your proof of that? And where are you getting this from?
And if you mean
theory?
Like his housing before, I mean, he's their real estate attorney. He was their real estate attorney before he was their criminal attorney. So
yeah, the real estate attorney,
that would make him doing something with where Brian has to live would make a lot more sense than him representing them now.
I don't even know why they need a real estate attorney unless they do things differently in Florida. I mean, all you need is a loan officer, you know, your realtor that handles the paperwork and the closing and all
other
that
stuff, or if he's just a family friend, or
he is the one that knows where Brian is. His Mama Matriarch and Papa Bear, they know where Brian is too.
I think they do too. I agree.
Yeah,
I think they know approximately where he is. All right, guys, we're going to probably wrap this up. I got to go to bed.
Yeah, because there's some shit being said in the chat that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, it's getting kind of crazy.
Too late for all of us.
Getting too late and too crazy. Hey,
but
be sure and leave a comment. Thank you all for coming. Leave a comment and we'll pick a winner for the popcorn. Thank you, Irish. Thank you, Katie. Thank you, Carly.
Bye.
Carly's the best.
Bye. Thanks for modding, Carly.
Thank you so much, guys.
Bye, Irish.
Have a good weekend.
Bye, Tim and Mermaid and all of my other favies.
Bye, guys.